Shout out to Kopish.
Shout out to Kop-Ish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kopish.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome to Kop-Ish. Welcome to another random, spontaneous, let's just do it show. As you can see, let's talk Liverpool. This will be about anything and everything the people want to talk about, the panel wants to talk about. And apologies to anyone who saw that I scheduled the show for tomorrow. Sorry, thinking, okay, what the hell's going on? Why is it happening today? That was my bad. I just accidentally pressed the wrong day. But we're here, and we'll probably have another show for you tomorrow as well. So this is how we keep moving. I've got some very special guests with me in the building today. I've got Liverpool 12th man. I've got Das, and I've got Jamie in the building. What's happening, fellas?
All good, all good. Apart from I ripped my hamstring.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I did football in the weekend, and yeah, a man my shape shouldn't be playing football. Yeah, let's put it that way. And I've got 4 assists, which I'm pretty happy about because I played the 10 role because I'm a whiz. But yeah, I pulled my hand. Yeah, I did my hamstring, and yeah, 21 to 9 weeks, 21 days to 9 weeks, they've said. But yeah, at this moment in time, it's completely black.
Oh,
and I can't bend it. I have to keep my leg straight. So under the desk right now, I've just got my leg perfectly straight.
You know, I was going to say, when you pull the hammy, the worst thing about it is there's nowhere to go what makes it better. Like, if you've got a bad arm or you've got a bad back, you know, like there's certain ways you can rest and you're all right. When it's your hamstring or your groin, it doesn't matter whether you're lying down, whether you're standing up, whether you're walking, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It just hurts. So, yeah.
Morphine helps. I ain't going to lie. I've got loads of liquid morphine at home. I won't tell you how I got it, but I've got loads of liquid morphine.
Jeez. All right. So, well, you know what? Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that. Cheers to
that. But yeah, look, the conversation's probably going to go here, there, and everywhere. But the viewers, they already know. All we do is tangents at Kopish. So who really cares? But we will try to stay on topic in terms of it being Liverpool. As I said, this is Let's Talk Liverpool, a new show I thought I'd invent. So, guys, first thing first, I'm going to talk about this. We were speaking about it behind the scenes. We'll start here and then we'll keep it popping afterwards. So Liverpool enter the race to sign João Nevez from Benfica. First of all, before we get into this, how do you guys actually feel about this if it ended up in any way being true?
I'd be excited.
Yeah.
I'd be excited. I think, if anything, I'd be excited because primarily when it comes to the future outlook for the team would be amazing to understand that we have, so many young midfielders that we could look for the future to build upon, whether it's with Harvey, whether it's with Curtis, obviously Bashetic. We're talking about players that are all under 23, on 22, 23 year status. So I think I'd be over the moon for it, especially as a 19-year-old wonder kid. Absolutely.
Well, he's 19. His physical profile, he's like, I mean, as an American, I'm not a part of the metric system. So 174 centimeters means 5'7", which is, basically like the same height as Messi. And if you look at his heat map on something like SofaScore, pretty much the entire field is just bright red, which means that the guy is everywhere, which, in theory is what you would want out of a deeper lying midfielder, which he seems to be capable of playing. The only concerning thing for me would be 105 million on a 19-year-old is a massive gamble. If the club feels like there's not a player with more experience that we could get for less money that could do the same job, I would have to then trust Michael Edwards. But I think that anyone at 19 for that much money in any position would raise eyebrows for me. And I'd say, okay, just make sure it's the right guy. But, if you look at his stats and you look at his profile and you look at what people say about him, he's very versatile. He can play in the DM, and he would be more of a modern DM, which, again, is something that we were talking about backstage about how You look at all the most successful teams in Europe right now. Like Rodri is not a traditional DM. Declan Rice is not a traditional DM. Vitinha at PSG is not a traditional DM. A lot of these guys are pretty much like 8s who just play in the 6 and they don't mess up their defensive positioning. So yeah,
I will say, Klopp did say this last season, by the way, that maybe we're going away from this 6. Like when he was talking about McAllister who can play there, like as an like destroyer type player. Because if you look at a person like Ugarte who went to PSG, he lost his place for a midfielder that's better on the ball and can move the ball, has got better passing range and can join attacks and can contribute to higher up the end of the pitch as well. I do think it's the thing we're looking at football now. But the thing with Joe Neves is he's younger than Stefan Bajcetic. And my issue is, Liverpool going to spend 101 to 105 million on a player when you've got Stefan Bajcetic there, who the club obviously highly rate. For 2 players in that position of that age range, for me, don't make a lot of sense, unless that's the reason why you're keeping Wataru Endo around, because he's that older player that can come in and do the Milner role of past, that player that can come in and, you know, has got more game time, is international experience, older, more mature, can come in and, you know, be part of the squad. Maybe that's why you keep Endo around. I just don't see Liverpool buying a player that is very, very similar to a player that's already at our football club. It sort of don't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's how tall did you say he was in centimeters?
He's 5'9".
He's 174 centimeters tall. So that's whatever.
That's me.
Okay, so
5'9".
Bajcetic is 185. Meaning that
Stefan's 205 now. That man thanks.
Stefan is much bigger. The only thing
is he update? I'm on transfer market, so I normally take them as gospel. But
he's about 6 foot now, isn't he? 6'2".
He's probably the closest thing in terms of profile from what I see. A lot of people like to compare him to Bernardo Silva, and the one thing I will say is that if I could have one player profile to have in my team to make everyone else hate me, because like Bernardo Silva is the guy that is so good and everyone overlooks him, but everyone hates him, right? Like everyone's least favorite player on City is Bernardo Silva because he's a rat, right? But like you want the rat on your team. In hockey, that's how you would describe it, right? Like you want the pest. Like every team has a pest and you want that guy on your team, but you hate to play against them. And Bernardo Silva's that guy. And if I could have a chance to have a player like that at a young age and let him develop, that's something that you want on your team, because that's a guy who could play in any position and he'll piss off everyone you play against. And that's like the best thing to have in any sport. So
yeah, I mean, are we worried about? Because for me personally, I ain't got no issue with his technique or his ability on the ball. I got no issue with that whatsoever. No. But I would worry about the fact that he is small, but the height isn't even necessarily. He's slender. It isn't just about being small, it's about being slender. And that's not to say he can't adjust. As you said, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, there's been small, very slender midfielders that have come to the league, bulked up a bit and dealt with it easily. So I'm not saying that he can't, but they play in more attacking roles. For me, when you're in that midfield role, especially if you're going to start getting involved defensively, it's what we were worried about when we bought Endo. Height, for me, is very important when you're a defensive midfielder because you have to win headers. It isn't even just about winning the ball on the ground. Who, sorry?
Conte was one of the smallest players on the field. He's probably the best DM for 4 years.
He is. But you know, you get those anomalies because like Kante's one of the best footballers of our generation. So like you'll get those anomalies. Do you know what I mean? I mean, even Thiago, he was short, but his leap was amazing. So he could actually jump very high. So you can have the anomalies, but generally speaking, we look at Rice, we look at Rodri, these type of players, they are very tall, physical players. So they are hybrids, but they've got all the attributes to be able to win headers in midfield, help to defend from set pieces when we're having corners and free kicks against us. Endo, I think that's where he a little bit lacks because you can't have your defensive midfielder only being like 5'8", for example, and then he's got to mark a 6'2" player in a corner. You're already thinking, oh, hold on a minute. How does this even work? If we've got big midfielders trying to win headers against the little 6'7" defensive midfielder, that's because remember the Premier League, the ball's in the air a lot. When you're in
Right.
Portugal, when you're in Spain, when you're in Italy, these technically gifted, brilliant football teams and players, the ball's on the ground a lot. That's the one thing I think they always think about when they come to England. Are you used to the ball being in the air? Are you used to the physical battle, the aerial duels in the air in the Premier League when you're playing against these teams that like to play long ball and stuff?
Do you know that
It's-
Endo won more balls in the air, more headers than any other midfielder in our club?
In our club?
At this
Oh,
last
it,
season,
it doesn't surprise me in our
Yeah.
club. Maybe over Virgil and Ibu, I'm surprised.
No,
if he
all the
won more.
midfielders. Like Endo got the most.
Oh.
He won the most aerial duels out of all the midfielders,
Right.
apparently.
And
Last
that's
season.
also
Yeah.
I was going to say also about that is
But our
Diego.
midfielders aren't good at headering, though, guys.
No,
Like,
our midfield can't defend, and that's the issue,
McAllister's
full
not
stop.
good at headering. Soboslai's not good at headering.
But
Jones
that's not
ain't
the
good at
player's
headering.
fault, Jamie. That's the system. But that's a whole
Oh,
nother
yeah, I know that.
conversation. That's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
nother conversation.
We're about to have a battle royal on this one.
But no, do you know what? I'm still surprised. Fair play to him. Fair play
No,
to
I mean,
everyone.
like,
He
no,
did
I was
win
just
more
gonna say,
headers than
Diego-
everybody else.
Diego Jota is not the tallest player, but he's able to somehow win aerial battles as well. And I'm
He's
only bringing
5'11"
Diego
though,
because
that's
he's
my
also
That's still pretty tall. Like he's not tall, but 5'11" is still. Do you know what I mean? Like you can.
He's average height, I would say. I would say
Yeah,
5'10"
yeah.
to
You
5'11"
can
is
get
the average
involved,
height of a
trust me.
footballer.
If there's a header to be won, I can get involved. I'm not saying I'm going to win it, but I'm tall enough to get involved. Do you know what I mean? 5'11", we're like that. We're right in the middle of like, we're not short and we're not tall. We're like right there in the middle, you know what I
I
mean?
think he's the right profile, though. Like, if you look at apparently the rumours, what Liverpool and the committee want the players they want to go for, they're looking for young superstars that can be at this club for the next 5 or 6 years, and you develop around him. That's how a club should run.
Right.
So Joe Nevez, I mean, obviously fits that. He
For
fits that
100
mold.
mil, James, now?
100 mil. What does look? The problem is, I'm looking at that Duran geezer from Villa going to Chelsea for 50 million
exactly
because he scored 2 good goals against Liverpool. One was a deflection.
yeah.
I'm looking at what is price nowadays. What is value in the market now? I don't know what value in the market is anymore, Drift. I ain't gonna say.
A dozen eggs costs $8. I mean, come on, inflation affects everything.
Well,
Hold on, what?
it cost you $8 for 12 eggs.
If you want to get pasture raised eggs, which are the ones that like actually get to live out in a field and aren't pumped with
Free range.
antibiotics.
Free range.
We call them.
Free
No.
range.
So free range is it's 100. It's 100. Like it's 100 square feet. Pasture raised would be like if it's literally on a farm that's infinitely large.
No,
and
that,
they
our
can-
free
they can
range is
roam
a
it.
farm.
Oh,
Our free range
yeah,
is a
yeah.
farm.
America,
Yeah.
welcome to America.
£8. Wow.
If you want the good healthy eggs, about $7.85 in Los Angeles. So
Yeah, this
But there ain't
month
a lot
has
of chickens,
decided
you know.
when we're live to start. So I'm not just being a weirdo. There's a moth that's flying around for the people and thinking, what the hell is Drift doing? There's some stupid ass moth. But
but
I
to
just wanted to-
Jamie's
I just wanted
point.
to say-
Oh my bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say that with Diego, the reason why I brought Diego is because he is his Portuguese, teammate. So I'm just saying that players sometimes can find themselves finding the ability to, get these qualities that we do need them to get at towards. It doesn't necessarily always determine upon. There's players that are tall that for some reason aren't great at aerial duels, So it's a matter of having the skill sets to create and produce. Now I'm saying that Diego does have that kind of skill set. I don't know if João Neves does or doesn't necessarily. I don't know if that's like his forte, but I'm more excited about João Neves being being this 19-year-old wonder kid that we could finally be including into a club to grow with the other great talent that we have, that we've gemmed, minded out of our youth academy, that some people knew about, some people didn't know about, but some of these great players now that are starting to have these opportunities that we could possibly see them have on this team. And
Well,
I mean,
just to kind of juxtaposition, give a little bit of a different lens into this, João Neves. I mean, technically, generally speaking, I don't like to talk about transfers because it's like, you're going around in a circle and you don't know what the club is going to do. And I'd rather just not stress myself out. But the price tag isn't really what bothers me here. What bothers me is that I'm in a position where I don't know if my club, which is the 7th largest club in the world and the 7th highest generating revenue club in the world, can afford to do that. Where I'm thinking to myself, Liverpool, the size of our club, we should have no issue spending 105 on a player and then going out and getting a center back and getting a striker into a transition season in which we could go compete for the league when we were last season. So like the way I'm trying to view it is lovely player, would love to have him. I think it'd be a great investment. The problem is that I don't know if the club is going to, like, if we buy him, I don't want him to be our signing and then go get, 2 disheveled guys to kind of fill in space for the people that we let go for free. So if it's down to an issue of, is he too expensive? I think the only lens to look at that would be, is this all we're going to spend money on? And if that's the answer, I don't care how good he is. We need more than one guy. We have many holes in this team that need to be shored up if we're going to go and get over the line and push for the title. And
that's my issue. That's my issue, bro. Like, when it comes to the money, it isn't even necessarily about the amount. It's about the amount we have. Everything is always in. Do you know what I mean? Like, even let's go with the $8 for the eggs, for example. If you're a multimillionaire, you have absolutely no issue paying $8 for eggs. But if you're on benefits, $8 for eggs is absolutely out of your price range. Do you get what I mean? So it's all about relevance. But in this world, do they spend like we're billionaires? And that's the problem. Our budget is always sensible. And I'm not even against us being sensible. I'm not. But whenever we get linked with a player of an astounding amount of money, 2 things always come to mind. A, is this true because we've never done it before? And B, if we do it, then what? Because we look back to the Caicedo bid, which is the only time we've ever bid that much for a player. If we did buy Caicedo, we wouldn't have made the 2 signings we made afterwards, Endo and Gravenberch. I know for a fact that it would have been Caicedo and then that would have been it. There's no way we would have bought Caicedo and then Gravenberch comes to the club still. No way. The only reason we did that was because we had the money that we never spent on Caicedo. So we went, okay, we can go and get 2. If we buy, as Daz said, if we buy, what'd you call it, for 105 million, if we buy Nevez for 105 million, okay, how much do we have left in the kitty now? Because if we're going to go and buy a centre-back, we want a proper centre-back. We're going to go and buy... If we're going to go and buy a backup for Salah, which we need, you know what I mean? At least say for 60 million, for example. Would we do that if we spent 100 million on Nevez?
3 players, like at the absolute minimum, you need a forward, you need a defensive midfielder, and you need a center back. Like, in my mind, that's like non-negotiable. Anything beyond that, whatever. But that's the minimum. 3 players.
I look at this totally different, to be absolutely fair. Liverpool have played within the rules. No, I wouldn't want to be a club that has to sell my hotel back to me just so I can spunk 50 million on an Aston Villa reject. Just so I'm spending money. I don't want to be Man City who think the rules are against them, but they can still spend hundreds of millions like it's going out of fashion.
No, I agree with that.
We play within the rules. Is it Liverpool's fault that we play within the rules, but no one else does, and they take advantage of the rules and find loopholes? Or should everyone actually be playing on the same level? This is the problem with football today, for me, in my opinion. I don't understand. Like, everyone keeps going about net spend all the time. Net spend this, net spend that. Go and look at Man City's net spend and go and look at Real Madrid's net spend the last few years. Go and look at theirs. They're worse than ours.
Well, Real Madrid, to be fair to Madrid, wherever they get their money from, they've been in the green for the last 3 years. So they technically are breaking a profit, which is rare.
Rail stands for royal, don't it? So they're run by the royal family. So their money will never go dry. But I'm not. Look, I personally think the recruitment's not been good enough the last 2 to 3 years. And we find ourselves in a position now where we've got too many players and it's going to be very hard to buy people this summer. You know, you got 7 to 8 midfielders on our books and everyone wants to get a DM in. That makes 9 midfielders. But we've got to get rid of players. Who's going to go? Harvey Elliott ain't going anywhere. I doubt Curtis Jones is going nowhere. The 4 new midfielders that came in the summer, they're not going nowhere.
You could sacrifice Endo without being disrespectful to him.
I'd only sacrifice. I'll sacrifice Endo if we get a DM in, obviously. But I'd actually sacrifice. Stefan Bajcetic more than Endo next season because
Ooh.
Stefan's only played 21 games in 18 months. For
When you
me,
say sacrifice, bro, do you mean
on a
loan or do you
a
mean
loan
actual?
deal? Yeah,
Oh,
loan
oh,
deal
okay,
to get
okay,
playing.
okay.
He's only played 21 games in 18 months. That's an
Yeah,
issue for
yeah.
me. And for me, I'd keep Endo, who's played 47 games this season. I would keep, and as an international, I'd keep him, get Stefan out on loan somewhere at a good club where he can play, so he can come back the following year being an absolute beast for us, and get a DM in. I think Liverpool got to shift some stuff about it. The defensive side of it. Look, you know, Virgil, I don't like the quotes I'm hearing from Virgil at the moment, that he's not going to talk about a contract till next January. No, I don't like that. You know, Matip's gone. You've got Kwanzaa, who's going to be a superstar eventually. There's no doubt about that. You've got Kanate. You've got Virgil there at the moment. So Liverpool need a new centre-back. They need a left-sided centre-back. I'm all for getting a centre-back to play left-back as well, like Arsenal, Man City do, where they play 3 out of the 4 defenders are centre-backs. I think that is something we've got to look down the line at. And then a forward. I know a lot of people keep talking about Salah cover. I don't get this. I'm going to be right now. I don't get this Salah cover stuff because
You don't think we need a right winger?
Messi never had cover. Ronaldo never had cover.
I mean, no, there were times when he did.
But they didn't buy a player.
Maybe I can enlighten you.
Remember, Sanchez used to sit on the Real Madrid
we
bench.
need a better 9.
But also,
more than we need a better.
1 second. I actually think the days of everyone having 2 players for each position is going. You see a lot of players now that are not willing to stay at football clubs who want to leave. Now Alvarez wants to leave Man City. You know, players want to play. At least say he's not coming to Liverpool to sit on our bench. It's a pointless bit of business.
No, not to sit on a bench, to make waves, to have 1 year at the club before Salah goes, and to just have less pressure to establish himself. And do you know? Let's come back to this because this is very interesting.
Salah doesn't need to leave.
Wait. Let me bring some clarity before you. I know you want to move on, Trip, but
no. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to move on. That's the point.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring it back to the money situation real quick because I don't want to go too far away from that. Because when it comes to the money, James, what you're saying is bang on with the Real Madrids and the Man Cities. I don't look at those clubs when it talks with because either they do have too much backing, too much power in the authority, too much wealth, whatever it may be. I agree with you. But, bro, the clubs around us that do abide by the rules, i.e., and I hate to bring them up because people will say why he was talking about them, Arsenal, who are a club now in transition, a club who are now properly established, not in transition, properly established amongst the top teams, looking to try and win the league. They operate the way we do. They do things in a classy way. They do things properly. James, they're spending way more money than us, and they don't make as much money as us.
Only the last 2 years.
They're not as big as us, and they don't make as much money as us.
Yeah, but the problem is when Liverpool
more than us, bro.
Liverpool years ago was spending more money than Arsenal, and now Arsenal are just spending more money than Liverpool now.
I don't think we were, James. Even when there were nobodies, they were still buying Aubameyang for 65 million and 50 million for Lacazette. They've always been spending money, and they haven't been making as much as us.
Liverpool have always this myth that Liverpool don't spend is balmy. It does my head in, because I don't know why every football club in the Premier League is sell to buy. Every single one. It's only Liverpool that are pointed that they are. But every single club in the Premier League is sell to buy. The reason is, if you're not sell to buy in the rules of the football today, you're getting massive issues. Look at Aston Villa. They spent too much money last 2 years. Now they've got to sell their best player in Douglas Luiz. Then they just finished 4th in the Champions League, getting all that revenue, and they got to sell their best player in Douglas Luiz to try and buy players again.
He probably wants to go as well, James. I wouldn't be shocked if he looked at that and thought,
no, but they had to sell him.
I want to go and play for them, you know.
Because if Villa don't make enough money by the 1st of July, they're going to get points deductions.
But remember, Villa don't make big money. That's the problem. You see those clubs, they don't make enough money back in. That's what the problem is.
But Liverpool only made £15 profit. So Liverpool didn't make any money either.
But James,
most clubs in the world,
profit.
98% of clubs in the world don't break profit. So just to regardless of Liverpool, football is not a business that you go into to profit from. It's a business that you go into for glory.
Yeah, 100%.
I wanted to bring some clarity because I know Jamie says some statements, but some of them are not exactly accurate. In that we do have, I understand we have 8 midfielders, but then again, we do have Thiago leaving in that group. So we no
No,
longer have-
Thiago's not in that group. We've still got 8.
Well, Thiago's not going to be a part of next year's campaign.
So we've still
So
got 8. That would have been 9 with Thiago.
Have we? Oh, so who do we got? We have
Endo, we have Thiago,
We got-
we have Tom,
Endo.
we have Alexi, we have Curtis,
Alistair
we have
Curtis.
Elliot, we have
Elliot.
Gravenberch, and we have Bishetic. That's 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit, we do
Carvalho.
have-
Hey,
And I had Thiago part of
9.
that group. So if Thiago leaves, that would be 7.
Carvalho. Tyler Morton.
I think those
mean,
guys.
you want to bring in players that are on loan? Or
No,
do something
but
else?
no. Let's not do this as we players on loan shit. They're part of our squad. They're part of our midfield.
Oh wait, first off, because you just said you had Thiago, Thiago's not
I
going to be a
didn't
part
say
of the
we
squad.
didn't have Thiago. I never said we had Thiago.
Well, you said we had 8 players. If you look on
Because I
LFC,
didn't count Thiago. You only counted Thiago. I didn't count Thiago.
but I'm saying Liverpool counts Thiago as the 8.
No,
and
they
now
don't. He's
he's
not at the
leaving, so
football
they're-
club.
I'm saying
Not
that
at the football club. He's gone. No one's counting Thiago.
But
my man.
we can't
But you
count
just
the
did.
Carvalhos in that though, James, because
Why?
we know
He's a
those
Liverpool
guys aren't
player.
going to hang around. No,
Yeah,
but we
he's a
know
Liverpool
they're not.
player. But at
We
this
know
moment in
they're
time,
not hanging
Right,
around,
Drift,
bro.
say Carvalho don't go anywhere. He's a Liverpool player, isn't he?
No, but
So
we won't
he's part of
register
the
him.
squad. But if you
We
don't
won't register him though.
if you don't register him, you don't have to register. How old is he? Is he under 21 still? So you might not have to register him anyway. But he's still
I
part
don't
of the
know. How
squad.
old
He's
is
part of the
Carvalho?
team.
Because remember,
This is the
Basetic
thing.
doesn't have to be registered either because he's under
He's
21
22
as
now.
well.
He's 22, I think, now, isn't he?
No. He's coming up 20. He's still not old enough to be registered.
No, he's
so-
homegrown. He counts as homegrown this season.
No, but we don't have to register him if we don't want to because he's actually under 20. He's actually
Tyler
still
Morton's
19 right
22.
now.
No, Tyler
No,
Morton's 22.
Basetic, bro, Basetic.
Oh, Stefan, yeah, Stefan.
Yeah. So, for example, he doesn't need to be registered. Let me check how old Carvalho is. Does Carvalho have to be registered? I'm not sure. Carvalho is 21, so he would have to be registered if we kept him. He'll go. Carvalho won't stay. He'll go, bro.
So let's say
will
Carvalho
100%
goes.
go.
I think Tyler Morton will stay because of the homegrown factor.
Wait, you think we'll keep Morton around even if we're not going to play? Because he's got to be registered if we keep Morton.
Yeah, well, we got a homegrown issue, though, ain't we? So we need
At the
to keep
moment, I don't think we do we? At the moment, I think we're
Yeah,
all right.
we need to keep some of these players. If Adrian's going, we'll probably get I think if Adrian goes, I think we can all agree that we'll probably get a homegrown number 2. And then Jaros will be the number 3. Because Liverpool obviously don't believe in the other goalkeepers in our academy. And
Hold on. We've got
I think they believe in Jaros.
Go get some 45-year-old Englishman.
unexpected appearance. What's going on, bro?
Big up,
Big
Al.
up, everyone.
Yeah,
And I'm
sorry,
sorry,
go on,
but
Daz, go on.
really sorry to interrupt everyone. I've been listening to the show while I've been doing a few things. You guys are killing it. Guys in the comment section, people watching, only like 50 likes. I'm not saying it's just because I'm part of the team. This has been a bloody good show so far. Please just smash the like button and subscribe to the other guys' channels as well, guys. Please.
100%,
It's a bare minimum. It's free to do it. Let's just get it done, please, people.
100%. Yeah, sorry, that's gone, bro.
If I could just drive a wrench into this conversation real quick, just to kind of play devil's advocate, because right now we're kind of going in the direction of money and players. The argument that I'll make is that do we even need to spend 105 million? Because if you really looked at our defensive issues last season, a lot of them came from the fact that we were very poor in possession, and that had to do with system. We created a lot of problems with frustrating possession, leading to mistakes, therefore leading to transition opportunities with players out of positions. Again, another system issue. Is it not possible that with a change in system that ultimately the players that we would have would end up looking better in defensive transition because we wouldn't be making those silly mistakes in possession? So with that being the case, is there even a need to spend 105 million pounds on a player, which I think he would be a fantastic addition. But at the same time, it's like the thing that keeps going through my head is the system was a bigger problem than the personnel. And if the system gets better and the personnel then therefore get better, what do we actually need? So it's like we're kind of we're in like an oxymoron, like a real life oxymoron right now.
I think it works both ways, bro, before the others give their opinion, because I don't think the system was bad. I think the players weren't good enough to play the system. And I still think you have to put blame on the manager for doing that. because I guess if he realised the players aren't good enough to play his system, maybe should have changed. But obviously, he was a man of principle and always wanted to stand by it, because a very similar system when we had the likes of the Manes and the Firminos and the Wijnaldums and the Fabinhos, we absolutely tore the world apart because those players were good enough to play the way Klopp wanted to play. Unfortunately, as Jamie pointed out rightly before, whether we like it or not, recruitment hasn't been good enough, because even though I think we've bought good players, they weren't anywhere near the level of the players they needed to replace. And that's where I agree with Jamie. I think some of the players we bought are brilliant. I think Thiago, Gravenberch, I do think these guys are good enough. But even Diaz, I think he's good enough, but he's nowhere near Mane. Gravenberch is nowhere near Wijnaldum. So we've been bringing in players who are good, but they're not going to be able to carry out what Klopp wanted to do the way Klopp did do it when we was controlling everyone. So the new system will be different more than better, if that makes sense for me, because I think Klopp's system was brilliant when he had the players who were good enough to play the system. So that's where I'm interested to see how Slot looks at the squad and goes, okay, so let me see what I can do with these players rather than trying to play the way, because that's what new managers are forced to do. They can't have pride like Klopp did or stubbornness the way Klopp did. They like, right, I've got to do well straight away. So I can't do what I want to do. I've got to do what these players are good enough to do. And
that's why
where
they're
I'm
going
very
to
interested.
I think that's also why we're not going to have a big transfer year, because he's got to come in and look at the squad that he's got first, you know. And I agree with everything you said there. I agree with all the lads on the panel as well. Like, it is like the structure of the team is, look, if you look, let's take Jorginho at Arsenal, yeah? He's Arsenal's DM, pretty much, right? If you put Jorginho in the way Liverpool played last season, we still get cut open, because Jorginho wouldn't be able to defend the way we play, because we play so risky and so attack-minded from back to front. We leave gaps. That's the way we play. That's why we're so excited and everyone wants to watch Liverpool play, because we have exciting games, yeah? So Jorginho would have got absolutely annihilated. But in Arsenal's system, he's perfect, because when Arsenal play without the ball, they almost go into a mid-low block and squeeze together and don't leave gaps. So Jorginho would be perfect. If you go back to Liverpool at their absolutely best under Jurgen Klopp, right? We was aggressive. We was an aggressive team. People used to hate playing against us because, you know, Mane would sneak in elbows, you know, not on purpose, but, you know, it'd be not dirty, but it'd be aggressive.
Yeah,
you know, we're not aggressive. Yeah, we're not aggressive anymore. You know, the midfield of Henderson, Jorginho, Wijnaldum, and Fabinho was an aggressive midfield. They'd knock you about. They'd get in your face. They'd have it off. Not have it off with you. No. That's another show. That's another show. Do you know what show that is? Do you know what show that is? If you've not watched it, guys, it's MILF Manor 2. Go and watch it. But no, that's what Liverpool at their best were. So, you know, everyone thinks Fabinho defended on his own in the 6. He didn't really. Henderson was defending beautifully. Wijnaldum was defending beautifully. Milner would come on and defend beautifully. They'd get in your face, they would attack. Salah and Mane and Bobby Firmino would defend beautifully further up the pitch. Teams couldn't get out against us. Now, how many of our players in our team right now actually like to defend? And that's the issue for me.
But oh, my bad.
One issue, though, real quick, then I'll allow for you to go on, Mike. But I get what Jamie's saying, but I know that this fan base especially has all been pushing for more techie players. We want more players that have technical abilities and skills. And we've gone down that route, bringing in McAllister, bringing in Dom, bringing in players that have more technical abilities and aren't just workhorses or aren't these engines that we put in the middle. These people that are just going to go out and do the dirty work. But now that we have those players, now we're talking about we want the players from before. It's more of like, I think that the DM role that we saw the DM role switch from a Fabinho to a McAllister, or even a possible Andre that we were looking at one point. You know, the reason why we're going that route is because we're trying to become more technical. We're not trying to become just the workhorses in the midfield or workhorses even up the front as well. When you have your Mane, it's just, but we just got blessed that Mane had the tech skill and the work effort, you know.
Well, so my fundamental disagreement, and kind of use a metaphor that might not make sense, but it might. So it's either going to hit or it's not going to hit. With Jurgen, what I saw with the buying of the new players was trying to replicate the past rather than evolve into the future, right? So when we see these issues that with the players that came in with the system that we had, does Luis Diaz defend like Sadio Mane? Absolutely not, right? Is Wijnaldum the same profile as Alexis McAllister? Absolutely not. But to me, it looked like Jurgen was trying to make those players into that, which is the problem that I have, because if you look at his counterpart, Pep Guardiola, he doesn't manipulate his players into his system. He manipulates his system to his players, right? Like if I have a pizza, I'm going to make the base of it with dough, not Wonder Bread. If I have Wonder Bread, I'm not going to make a pizza. I'm going to make a meatball sub, right? Pep Guardiola makes a meatball sub. Jurgen Klopp makes a pizza with a base of Wonder Bread. Like I'm now just for lack of a better metaphor there, what I see is that with our players, if a new manager comes in and designs the style of play around the players rather than designing the players around the style of play, we would see a much different team, because there were spells in the season where we were kind of doing the prior rather than the latter. We were kind of manipulating ourselves to what we had available. And then, of course, we try to go back. And the same thing could be said about the season before that, when we switched to the 4-4-2 before the World Cup. And then after the World Cup, we go back to the 4-3-3 and we go on the terrible run of games. So to me, while I will agree we have a lot of personnel issues at this club and we have players who can't finish goals, we have so many systematic issues and we create problems for ourselves. And I don't know if 105 million pound, marquee signing is going to save that, because it doesn't matter what I put on the pizza. It's made out of Wonder Bread and it's going to taste like shit.
But the person who was cooking the pizza last season in Pep Linders is no longer here. Maybe we got a pizza chef that's coming in there and knows actually what to do, knows how to knead the bread. You know what I'm saying?
This is precisely
I can
my
carry
point.
on these analogies all night. They're great.
This is precisely my point, which is why I tend not to be someone who will lean on like marquee signing. Like I've always been a system person, and I've always given players the benefit of the doubt. Like I'm not going to blame Gakpo for looking poor when he's being asked to play 4 different positions. I'm not going to get angry at Soboslai when he's asked to play as Jordan Henderson, and I'm not going to get mad at Darwin Núñez when he's being asked to play as a drifting striker rather than stay in the center and be my focal point. So we could have arguments about players all day long, but like ultimately you have to kind of look under the hood and see what you're working with. Is it a V12 or is it a piece of shit lemon? You know what I mean? And what am I putting into it? Am I giving it synthetic or am I giving it real oil? Which one does it need? You know what I mean? Every car requires different things, and I think that our car was just you were loading in regular gas when it needed premium, and while it could get the job done, you're going to have some problems down the road, which were manifesting themselves into what we see at the end of this season, aka losing to Crystal Palace when we had 15 chances, losing to Manchester United when we had all these chances, yada yada yada. I've been dribbling, but that was my metaphor. Apologies.
No. Well said, bro. Well said. And this is the beauty of football. This is the thing I love about football more than anything, is that everybody can be right at the same time, because there is no one true way to look at football or to understand what's happening. And that is the beauty of what I love about football and having these discussions. Before Cal's going to just reset, he just froze. Let me just hit a few of these supers before Cal jumps back in and we keep the conversation flowing. Big up Honesty, who says, bless up, man. Question, a DM is not a priority according to the reports. Isn't that a big mistake? Because I don't want us to come up short again. Or is Szoboszlai going to be used as a road runner again? We'll get onto that DM conversation. Big up yourself, Honesty. We definitely won't forget to address that. Gangan Deep says, do you think LFC will address what's needed in the transfer window? We'll leave ourselves short like usual, or will we leave ourselves short like usual? This has always been our Achilles heel. Again, that's literally what we are going to be, what we are going to touch on. So big up Gangan Deep. And Honesty back again says, breaking news, there has been no attempt by Liverpool to dismiss the links with Bakayoko. Benfica want a minimum of 85 mil for Neves, but his buyout is 105, right?
Yes, but Bakayoko, unbelievable winger. Love that guy.
So I mean, all right, Cal, I know obviously you've been patiently waiting. What's your opinion on the whole situation? What's your opinion on the whole situation with regards to like the links with Nevez? What do we need? Where can we go? Can we spend this much money on one player? Who will be here next season? Do we count Carvalho, Basetic, Morton? Do we worry about these guys? Do we get rid of these guys? Do we put them on loan? I've just asked you about 8 different things, but
Yeah,
I know you. Bruno, what do you think so far, bro?
So I personally think we financially can spend that sort of money and still be all right. It's just whether we want to do it as a club. I don't think we've ever been in a position where we're struggling financially over the last 3 or 4 years. I think it's always been a case of do we want to or not. And before, I used to think it was all FSG saying, no, we're not spending this money. Towards the end of Klopp's reign, I actually think it was more 50-50, maybe even 60-40 towards Klopp because of his loyalty towards the players and wanting a certain type of player. And his philosophy of not necessarily wanting to go and buy the most expensive player, but buying a player that is a rough diamond and polishing that diamond to become a sparkling diamond. I think in terms of spending that sort of money on João Neves, I think it's a risk we don't need to take at this stage. If João Neves was maybe 23 to 26 years old and had a bit more experience, had been in Champions League tournaments a bit longer, had played at a higher level for a longer period of time, then maybe I'd be on board with it. But we're not in a position at the moment where we can bring in a 19-year-old and hope and bed them in. If João Neves is coming in, he's going to be the starting DM and he's going to have to hit the ground running. He's going to have to be at the level of a Rodri, a Rice, a Partey, or someone of that ilk because we're trying to win the Premier League. We're not just trying to finish top 4 anymore. Or that's what I believe anyway. I don't think I'm kind of with Mike. I don't think we have to spend 105 mil to get top quality players in the DM position anyway. I don't think we have to spend 300-400 mil this window to improve the squad massively to become a title challenging / title winning squad either. But we have to be smart about it. I'll also say as well, the players we bought last summer, it's going to be tricky to see how everything meshes in because Klopp at this point last year didn't want to leave Liverpool. So he was buying players with a long-term vision. We don't know if Slot's going to have this vision for these players. So it's going to be very difficult to see how that all meshes and how that all merges. Me and Jay have been speaking recently and I've changed my mind about 6 times on what position Szoboszlai is going to play. He's going to play right, he's going to play left, he's going to play 10.
Put him in the
I'm not
forward
even
line.
Slot.
Is he going to stay?
Put him
Is
in
he
the
gonna stay?
line.
Like,
Put
that's
him
what
in
I'm
the
saying. Like,
forward line.
I'm not even Slot and I'm thinking about all these things. So I can't even imagine. Like the guy's on holiday right now. He's probably not even really enjoying his holiday because he's probably having headaches all the time thinking, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do there? I think as a core squad, we have a lot going for us. A lot going for us. I still will say, I think the system is what really shirked us last season in the fact of we were trying to put square blocks in round holes. If we change that, I think we'll improve. I just don't know if we will improve enough to catch Arsenal and City in the later phases of the league if we don't buy the right quality and they bed in well. I'm not going to drop this agenda. Elise should not be getting his head turned by Chelsea when there's a Liverpool Football Club. I don't care how much salary they offer or anything. They are not Liverpool Football Club right now. Maresca as manager after Poch just left, after Potter left, after Tuchel left, after Lampard, like Chelsea like turning his head. I get last summer because they're in a new project. Bowley's there, but after the season they just had, and you're telling us Liverpool we can't challenge Chelsea for Elise. I'm sorry, that blows my mind. And again, maybe I'm being a bit biased, but if we're this big bad Liverpool, if we're this revenue giant, if we're this historical team, we should be able to go, yeah, Elise, no, we're getting Elise this summer. You might have had Caicedo and Lavia last summer. That ain't running this summer. We're getting him this summer because we can't keep on missing out on players like Rice and all these playing Odegaards and all these players and seeing them go to our direct rivals, improve their teams, and then we're sitting there going, oh, maybe we should have just gone for it, maybe we shouldn't have. And like last summer, we really screwed up, in my opinion.
I don't think Elise improves us at all.
To a point Jamie made earlier before he just dropped that bombshell. players like Elise aren't going to want to come to Liverpool to be squad players.
Okay.
Well-
All right. So why would he go to Chelsea? Because why do players go to Man City? Why do
You know
players
why
go
he'll go to
to
Chelsea, Cal? Is because
Money.
Liverpool are not going to get into a bidding war with Chelsea. Liverpool does not look. Liverpool gets involved in a player. Either the player wants Liverpool, and it's pretty much a seamless transfer.
No, Ghost, I get you.
Or the bidding. If there's a bidding war, Liverpool are
Is
like,
that good
I'm
or
not
bad,
about it.
Ghost? Is that good or bad? How do you
It's
actually
both.
feel about
It's
that?
both. It depends
Is
on
it
the
good or
situation.
bad?
Depends on the
I
player,
think it's
doesn't
both.
it? Depends
Yeah.
on the player. You're
Ghost,
absolutely.
I hear what you're
Name
saying.
the last player that we've gotten into a bidding war for.
The thing of Elise apparently Chelsea are going to give him 250 grand a week. That's what they're doing. There is no way Elise.
How can they afford that, James?
There's no
They've
way
got all of
Elise
these
should be on that
FFP
money.
issues
That's
and-
crazy. I can't
How
lie.
Don't
can
ask
they
questions
afford
about money. Don't ask questions
Also,
about money because
right,
you're not
here's
collecting
my-
answers.
Here's my thing with Elise as well, right? I've said this many times. I think Elise can show out at a team like Crystal Palace because he's allowed to be the superstar at Crystal Palace. They let him have free reign, a bit like Wilfred Zaha used to do. Have free reign, you're my superstar. Go out and do your thing. Don't worry about anything else. You go and show out. If he goes to a bigger club, his responsibilities will change a little bit because the size of the club you are, where you've got to do other things on the pitch. And I don't know, a bit like Jadon Sancho. That's why Man City got rid of him in the first place. You know, it weren't about his talent, about his attitude and the way he could adjust. That's why he didn't work at City. That's why he didn't work at United. And at Borussia Dortmund, everyone thinks he was great when he went back. And Dortmund fans tell you he only had a few good games. The talent set is just, can they adapt to it? I always feel like I want Eze and Elise to stay at Crystal Palace. Go and ball out at Crystal Palace and stay at Palace. They're doing something good at the moment. Got a new manager. They're looking like they're on the upturn. Stay there. Do your thing. Don't go to these bigger clubs where they're going to make you a system player and you're not going to be the player you can be. Stay at these clubs.
That is a good point from Jamie, though.
Crystal Palace is only selling one of them, though. Crystal Palace is only selling either one or the other. They're not selling both. They've already announced that. They've already put.
Yeah,
that's
it will
already
be
been
Elise.
well
They'll sell
publicized.
Elise.
The only other point, well, to kind of add on to what Callum is saying, and the topic of spending 105 million, the idea kind of just came to me, and maybe it's batshit.
Hang on, can I
crazy,
just say something to chat?
Sure.
I never once said Elise has attitude problems. When did I say that?
Yeah, no, you did.
I said Sancho, and and everyone knows that for a fact. With Elise, I said specifically, stay at Crystal Palace where he can ball out and be the player he is right now. If he goes to Liverpool, he will be systematically put into a team where he'll have to defend more. He'll have to maybe,
He does that already, though, Jay. He does.
No,
that already.
but what I'm trying to say, when he's at Crystal Palace and he's doing what he's doing at Palace, he will not be able to do that at bigger clubs.
But the thing is, I don't even think we need the player profile of Elite. And to kind of so to kind of piggyback a little bit off what Callum said, if we're going to spend 105 million on a player, the only kind of player I'd want to drop that much bank on is someone that I could put in the 9 who will actually finish the 900 million chances that we were given, which means that we would actually be winning these games. And
Careful, Mike.
But hold on. If we're going to make that kind of gamble and you're going to spend that much money, to be honest with you, if I'm going to gamble, well, hold on, because I love Darwin. Listen, I've always loved Darwin. I've been a Darwin sexual forever. I stood on a hill for that man for months. I took shit, and it is what it is. But if I'm going to make that gamble, and when I decide to be a gambling man, I don't half-ass it. I say, you know what? Let's gamble. So if I'm going to spend 105 million pounds on a player, I'm going to buy a striker. And then what am I going to do about the DM? I'm going to take my right back, who I've been saying is a midfielder for 4 years. I'm going to stick him there. Why? Because he has some of the best midfield defensive stats among right backs in the Premier League. And then I move up Connor Bradley and I say, you know what? If I'm going to gamble, I'm going to go get myself a goal scorer, and I'm going to take a person who has the potential to be a defensive midfielder, who I genuinely think could be a solution to the problem, and I'm going to stick him there and basically say this is going to be our attempt at creating a modern central defensive midfielder who would be more along the likes of Rodri than along the likes of Fabinho. And if you want to think that's crazy, that's crazy. But if I'm going to gamble smart, and I'm just going to go all in. And that would kind of be my all in play. And I really think that we could do that. We could stick Trent there and I think it could work. But I know that a million people are going to say you're an idiot, you're an American, you don't know football, and he's
no,
not
not in this
They
community.
better not say that in there,
Not
bro.
in
That's
this
how you get
community.
blocked.
No, but here's the thing though, Mike. At least he's not really a big gamble like that because he's got the release clause. Like 60 mil in this climate, that's normal.
Oh, I was talking more. I was talking more
even...
about Nevez, but yes.
Oh,
Elise would
the
not,
105.
Elise would not be nearly the same gamble. I mean, you got 45 million in between the two, but still, is Elise the profile that you want?
The thing is, I hear where Jamie's coming from, though. I do. I'll be honest with you. The likes of the Eze's and the Elises, Jamie's got a point. It does take a special kind of player to be able to go to a club that's a system club and still be able to be as effective as you were when you had a free role. Now that you're in a much bigger, and I think that's why we had way more respect for Mahrez, because he showed he went from being a freelance player to a system player, and he was still sensational. Whereas you look at Grealish. Grealish had a free role at Villa, and now he's at Man City. People are like, what's wrong with this guy? Because he hasn't been able to adapt to being a system player the way Mahrez did.
He's a £100 million player too.
And he's a £100 million player. Mahrez went to Man City and he's like, okay, I'll play the system, but I'm still sensational. And he still was a game changer. He was still a match winner in the system. Grealish has gone there, and he's like, I played the system well, but now I look ordinary. Now I don't even look like I'm a player that everybody wants. At Villa, Grealish was the guy. So Jamie's got a point. You've got to be very careful when you do buy these players.
And every team plays with a system before anyone comes out with that nonsense. Yeah. Every team plays with a system. What I'm trying to say is that Elise's the star boy. He's allowed to show off himself at Crystal Palace. Yeah. If he went to Liverpool, look at Luis Diaz. Yeah. Let's look at Luis Diaz, for instance. Yeah. Luis Diaz is not the real Luis Diaz at Liverpool that you've seen him elsewhere, because he's asked to do different kinds of jobs at Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, it's, and I'm not saying Elise is a bad player. I'm a bit of a football romantic. I like players like Elise and stuff like that. Maybe staying at Palace, helping Palace get to somewhere. You know, I've got Palace as star courses for Europa League next season, because I think they look like they're already buying a couple of good players in. The manager looks like he knows what he's doing. You've got Eze and Elise there. You've got something cooking. You've got something happening. Mateta scoring goals. You know, I'm just a football romantic at heart. I just like to see these players sometimes not look at the big lights and the big money all the time and just feel like, you know, let's keep myself here, you know. And that's not a diss on Elise. I think he's a talented footballer. I'd rather see an Elise at Crystal Palace enjoying his game and doing the beautiful things he's doing than maybe getting bogged down at a bigger club a little bit and not being quite the player he was when he was at Palace.
Just Jimmy, the other point then, guys, because when you think about it, Mavericks at small clubs are allowed to be Mavericks because the manager will know you can win me games. We'll do all the other stuff. You go and win me the game. And people like Elise have that freedom. But he's right. When Elise comes to Liverpool, boy, you better be pressing. What do you mean you're not coming back? You better be tracking those runs. Like, there's going to be so many things he'll be asked to do that then don't allow him to be a Maverick.
But
yeah, go on, bro.
But that means we can only sign players from teams in and around our level, and realistically, we can't because they're already at those teams. So we always have to. This is not meant to be disrespectful. We always have to look at lower caliber teams to get their better players, because we can't go to Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, and say we want those players, because they'll laugh at us in the same way we'd laugh at them. So we have to go to the Palaces of the world. And I hear it. I hear what you're saying as well, Jay. I'm probably the worst person because I'll literally rip every team to shreds if it means Liverpool win. I know it's not the nicest thing to say, but I'm Liverpool over everything, in it. So I get the romantic, but if it means that we sign Elise and Palace get relegated, or hey ho, it is what it is.
Got him.
But here's the thing. I might get shut down for this, Cal, and the rest of the people might go mad at me. But in my opinion, Diaz is a better footballer than Elise. But to Jamie's point, we've brought him in and we've asked him to do something that now means. No, I think Diaz is a better footballer than.
No, absolutely, I agree with you.
Natural born ability, Diaz is a better footballer than him.
Absolutely.
But me and you will always have this debate though, because I'll start breaking.
You truly believe Elise is a better footballer than Diaz?
Yeah,
baller for baller. Let's go to the streets. I'll throw a ball in.
But you say go to the streets. Drift. I played down at Power League with some ballers, bro. But you get them on 11-a-side pitch, you clamp them like that.
I think
So-
if you put Diaz in Palace's team, he's doing what Elise's doing now.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Never.
No, Cal,
That's
come
why
on,
we
this guy
bought.
leaves his
That's why we bought him
country.
from
He
Porto
was
in the first
balling out
place.
in Portugal, bro.
well,
Diaz
But,
is about
but
He had
do you
one-
think that
he had
Elise?
one
But
season
do you
ball
think
in-
that Elise
one
can
half
do
a
what
season
Diaz
ball in that
does?
sport.
Look, if you brought Elise to the system that we're talking about, does he
I'm
do
not a
what
Diaz fan.
does he do what Diaz does, which is put in the amount of work ethic that he does, the workload that he puts in for defensively, playing out a character in the sense that the whole panel has basically said he does, like playing out a character and playing more defensive minded, or doing, taking some parts of his game and making the sacrifices. I don't necessarily do, and that's why a lot of times when I hear
He
these,
might not have to though, Ghost, because his output is going to be much better than Diaz's, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it. Like
Yeah,
he's,
but
he's
it's
a
better.
he's a
It's
better.
better. It's better at Palace, though, Cal. Would it be
No, but-
better at Liverpool? Diaz was playing brilliantly when he was in Portugal for his country. He balls out, but he's asked to do something different at Liverpool.
But
You get what I
here's the-
mean, bro?
that's
my
all I'm
thing
trying to
is-
get at too. Yeah.
No, I
agree
hear.
with
So,
what you're
right,
saying,
when you say baller, though, the first thing I'm envisaging you thinking, Drift, is that's a football at their feet and see what they can do in a park, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
But that's not football at the level that we're talking about. Football at the level we're talking about is IQ, positioning, finishing, creativity. Elise's creativity is way higher than Diaz's. His
at a lower
passing-
level. He's
but-
never played international level, and he's never played Champions League.
Well, he plays for
Premier
he plays
League.
under 21s up front. But the fact that he's doing it at Palace with lower level players surely
But
should show how
Zaha
much
did that,
creativity-
bro. Zaha did
Yeah,
that.
and we all sat here and said that Zaha should have got a chance to move to a bigger team. And if I'm not mistaken, he's had a really good season at Galatasaray. So
But that's still a lower level than what
Yeah.
we're at, though.
no,
Do
I
you
hear
get
it.
what I'm saying?
I hear it, but we'll never know if he can make that level jump unless he makes that level jump. But all you can do is take what he's doing now, and he's more creative than Diaz. He's got better shooting than Diaz. He's a better crosser of the ball than Diaz. He's better at set pieces. Dribbling, I think Diaz is busier at dribbling. Elise is probably a more effective dribbler, though. He gets from A to B a lot more effectively than Diaz.
No way.
Kind of does.
No way.
the-
You feel at least he's better at dribbling than Diaz, bro.
He's
No.
more effective. I think Diaz looks prettier at dribbling, but Elise is more effective.
I'm
No.
not Diaz's biggest fan, as Cal will know, but I just feel like the Diaz I saw at Porto for Colombia is a completely different player to the one I see at Liverpool. Completely
Yeah.
different, because the role he's had to play for Liverpool. Now that might be under the previous manager. Who knows? This season coming with Arne Slot, Diaz might be a different kind of player. You know, he might be asked to do different roles in the game. I'm not sure. I like Elise. He's a super talent. The problem is he comes in, Salah's playing every week, and I just think it's
So is Diaz. Diaz
I
is playing
just-
every week too.
yeah, and I just don't think we need Elise right now. I really don't.
I'm so surprised at how many people in the chat think Elise is a better dribbler than Diaz. I am flabbergasted. I'm
That's what I think Diaz is
absolutely
good at.
flabbergasted.
That's the one thing Diaz is good at. is dribbling.
Diaz
someone
is one of the
someone
best
in the chat did
dribblers
make a
we've
good
ever
point.
had at Liverpool.
There was a good portion of the season where we were all sitting there going, Diaz can't beat his man. Diaz
No, but
doesn't
it was
beat his
bad,
man.
bro. Do you know what he went through this season? No, what are we talking about?
No, but it still happened though.
And then when he got his shit together, he had Man City falling over, sending
Exactly.
people at the
We
shop.
run
But
that
he
Man
didn't
City.
score.
He didn't score on a clear one-on-one that should have been a goal.
I'm gonna say that
times
this
out of 9.
everyone goes
No,
back to
but
that Man
clinicalness
City
and
dribble.
dribbling, that is two different
I know. We
conversations,
were talking about
Remember,
dribbling. we're not talking about
finishing and
okay,
dribbling.
fair
are
enough.
two
Everyone
different
goes back
things.
to that Man City dribble where he sat down Rodri and then he dubs up Walker. Can anyone name the other
Twice.
instances in the season where he's really been where he's really got at his man and said, "All game, I'm getting at you today. I'm getting at you."
Yeah,
Do you know
Everton.
since Diaz came
Ask,
to
ask,
Liverpool, though,
ask Everton. Ask Young.
That's the
ask,
shout.
Ask
Everton's
Young.
a shout. Everton's a shout.
Yeah.
We didn't
I-
deserve to lose that.
Remember,
That's
we've
the
got a
shout.
guy who's been at Liverpool for 2.5 seasons, and in that time, he had a year-long injury, and his parents got kidnapped. Like,
No,
we've
I'm-
got to throw in some context to how Diaz's
No,
Liverpool
I
career is going
I
so far.
hear that, but we
They
also
took-
have
they took the wrong guy,
periods where we're
didn't
like, he can't beat his man. He's not getting past his man.
Yeah, but bro, he's recovering
No.
from
That's-
that year-long injury
I-
as well.
I-
We see what
I
injuries
think-
do to
I
players.
think with Diaz, he was told to cut inside. That was the game plan, and not go on the outside. Because when I watch him for Colombia, he plays left wing, and he goes on the outside all the time.
There's
So-
another game for the collection. Cal,
I
when he was
think I
picking up
just
the-
feel like
I was on maternity leave, then I can't.
Uh,
I genuinely didn't watch the game. I was on maternity leave.
He has cooked the shit out of
I
Arsenal.
think
and he
with
did a
Slot,
no-look
it'd be
goal. He
different.
scored that a no-look goal on this.
But
on
I don't
the
even
goal.
think that Luis Diaz is the right comparison here, because like we've had a case study of a midfielder at a lower level of a club go to a team at the pinnacle of the league, and Declan Rice going to Arsenal. Now, you know what he's asked to do at Arsenal is much more
McAllister.
similar. It's much more similar to what he was doing at West Ham, but it still doesn't change the fact that he's going up a level. So to me, every argument that you could make against Olise for moving up a level, you could also make for Olise moving up a level, with, you know, the main one being that you're playing with better players now, which means that there's not as much that you have to carry, which means that you now have more freedom in that position. But you know, if you're gonna tell me you have to pick one between those two, I'm always gonna go with the cheaper option and the one that's Premier League proven. So while I don't think that we need Olise, I'd rather spend 60 million on him as an experiment than 105 million on a 19-year-old who I don't even know if it'll work when I know that I need other players. If that kind of makes sense.
agree
and with
with
Olise, he had 2 hamstring injuries last season in the same
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
And that's my worry. He's only 22 and he's already getting bad
Which is
hands.
valid.
So
Very,
that's an
very,
issue
very
as well. I've always said it. I've told Cal this. I prefer Eze to Elise personally. I think he's the better
Jamie,
footballer.
that's why I always knew he was a real one.
I think he's the far better footballer. And if there
Eze's
was
the
any-
truth. I've been saying this.
And if there's anyone
Eze
I'm
is
going to
better
get,
than Elise.
I've always rated Eze.
if there's anyone I'm going to get, it's Eze.
Eze,
Should we just buy
like,
all
this
of Crystal
Jamie
Palace? Should we
knows.
just buy all their players? Should we just take their whole
Well,
team?
they got that Walton as well.
I was
He's
gonna
quite
say,
tiny.
yeah.
Let's turn Crystal Palace into the new Southampton, guys. We know how much we gain from that.
We should just move Liverpool to London, and then we could just take over their stadium.
Whoa,
and we
this
can-
ain't an American thing, Dad.
No, Eze's the one. If you're gonna go and raid Crystal Palace, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. You guys don't do that. Teams don't move.
No,
Teams
they
stay.
stay where they are, man.
They
They
were.
stay where they
That's definitely not American.
Arsenal moved to be like Bayern Munich, then got beat up by them again. But
Say
yeah,
that.
that's a whole.
If you think
different
about
story.
it, back in the day, Tottenham are from Middlesex, which ain't really North London. So, you know, I'm just saying.
Well, remember, Arsenal's actually a South London team.
Woolwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You can
You
see
know
what
what
the
I mean?
cannons on their
Yeah,
top.
so you get the movement. But no, look, for me personally, I find it very strange that we've been linked with two. Because here's the other thing we didn't talk about, guys, because we spoke about this off. Who's activated Bruno Guimaraes' £100 million? Because the rumours are that, and we were in for him. Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City, the three teams have been heavily linked with Bruno Guimaraes. Is Bruno Guimaraes less of a risk? I know, Mike, you were talking about Prem proven. He's 100% Prem proven.
He plays a
Same
ton of
price.
minutes. He played 4,800 minutes last season, 37 Premier League games. He started in every single Champions League game, bar one, I believe, which he might have missed because of a suspension. But yeah, he would be.
I think he's a better player. I know, obviously, he's a lot older. I think he's a
Mhm.
better player at this stage
I-
of his career. Who's
don't know,
activated this contract? Who's the one who's going to
He's
get
not
Bruno
a
Guimaraes?
DM, though. He's not.
He's not a DM. That's
Not a
my
DM.
problem.
So good, though,
But-
but he's not.
Cal,
a
Is
we
he
was
not
having
the
this-
same type of DM, though, Cal?
But we
Where's
don't
that-
need a
Is it
destroyer.
not the same
Yeah.
type of thing?
We don't need a Fabinho.
destroyer.
We
Yeah.
we need just our version of a ball playing, progressing box to box midfielder. We don't need someone who's going to break your ankles at the midline. You know, we don't need Fabinho. We don't need someone who's going to sit at the halfway line the whole game. We need someone who can just do everything up until the box, and then from the box, let the rest of the field take over. So box to
What's
box. Don't ever
interesting, let's just say
I
Would,
that.
don't
would,
think-
would everyone
what's
agree that
interesting that you say
Bruno is
that?
the same as Alvarez?
Ghost.
With Nevez and Kopish, they're very similar players. Are we all in agreement? They are very similar type players.
Right. But I was going to say, what's
Sorry, go on.
no? I was going to say real quickly. What's interesting though is that Bruno is more of like an advanced midfielder. Excuse me. He likes to get forward, but one of the unique things about last year is I think everyone can prove that we played better when we had like an Endo playing our DM and being that Fabinho style player. So I get that everyone's talking about the transition to what we're going to, and albeit I don't mind. I love the fact that we're offensive minded, but the DM role I've been proven wrong, I guess, and say I've been proven that it works when we have a player like that.
That's why he's got the gold bottles, people.
But it worked until it didn't, though. But the thing is that it worked until it didn't, because in the latter stages of the season, Endo got caught out multiple times trying
Endo
to
was
play
hurt.
more.
Before you go down that route, Endo got hurt. Ever since he got hurt, the game changed for Endo in the sense of he wasn't the same player. When he got hurt in that, it was, I think, after the League Cup game, he got hurt. He played through it. He battled through it. He tried to maintain his composure and everything else. But since that game, his game had dipped off just a tad, and that made a difference. Everyone keeps saying this stuff about Endo this, Endo that. Yeah. There's a part and point where you got to connect certain events that happened to the reason why players' abilities and performances have dipped in one way.
And we all fell off at the same time. I don't think anybody can disagree with this. Every Liverpool player fell out.
I think injuries. I think injuries caught Liverpool up at the end of the season.
Exactly. Just to go back to Ghosty's point, though, he's right, because how many times did I say it on here? Unlock McAllister. We're shackling McAllister. The moment Endo came to that team, we all sat there and went, "Right, McAllister is him." We literally said it. He's like
another system problem, not a personnel problem.
Yeah, for real. Like, remember who did he score? Was it Sheffield United, where he just run onto the ball and they hit the Gerrard-esque shot? I mean, we're all going crazy on the stream, and I'm like, he wouldn't have done that for McAllister.
McAllister's the keys to us performing well. I think McAllister's one of, after Salah and Van Dijk and Alisson, I think McAllister's the most important player.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to marry the shackles
as an 8, not a 6. As an 8.
As an 8, 100%.
The problem is, even with Endo, no bigger fan of Taro Endo than me. So it's just like, I love that guy, right? And the problem with it, even with Endo in the team, we all admit the balance of the team was better when Endo and McAllister played that sort of double pivot role. Yeah. The problem is, guys, we still conceded chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and still
there's
kept
no
going
pace
behind,
in there, James.
And still
that's
kept
the
going
main
behind
issue.
the team.
There's no pace in there.
My issue with it is
possession, though. It
has
to do with our possession.
The system did not suit the players that you had at the club. So when you're playing Virgil and Kwanzaa or Konate one-on-one defending, and your fullback is inverted and he's just wandering around doing whatever he wants, and you got a left back who just don't know how to play the third centre back role, and you're ruining his game, and you're this high press team. Remember, we're a high press team. We're box to box. Back in Klopp's day, we're box to box. We're very exciting. That's why Liverpool got all the 12:30 kickoffs. That's why we got all these prime, because we're the most exciting team in the league to watch, because we're so attack-minded from back to front. You look at Arsenal. Arsenal are very attack-minded, but when they haven't got the ball, they go into a mid-low block. When Liverpool ain't got the ball, they're still attacking. And so I've always said it don't matter what DMs we got, with the way we're set up at the moment, we will still concede chance after chance after chance.
Wonder bread pizza.
That's the thing. That's the thing I want to see change next season, is the way we set up off the ball. It's got to be a little bit different to give these DMs a bloody chance to look like DMs. Do you know what I mean? I think Wataru Endo would look a lot better if you told him you're not going to be isolated, man, on the halfway line with 30 yards of space behind you. You know,
but Jamie, I don't like the funny thing about this. I see people saying the high line. It's like, it isn't even that complex. Like, it's not the high line. If anything, we conceded more. We conceded more chances because of us having sloppy possession than us having just egregious, terrible positioning defending. If you lose the ball up the pitch and you're an attacking team, you're going to get caught out on odd man rushes all day. But if you're a better possession team that doesn't keep the ball for the sake of keeping the ball, I mean, towards the end of the season, you started to see Virgil visibly start to yell at everyone else on the pitch, like, why do I have 800 touches? Why do I still have the ball? Why is it that I'm just playing keep me up with Konate all game? What are we doing here, right? Like, there's certain spells in the game where you have to give up the ball, let the other team create a little bit, and boom, we get a transition. 100%, because most of our goals, if not all of them, come immediately following a turnover. And that was the same in 2019, and it was the same last season. When's the last time you saw us from back to front break down a team and score a goal in one possession? We don't do that. But what we do is we try to do that, and then we give up the ball, and then we're out of position, and then we lose. Then we give up an opportunity. And I think that, system, possession, a lot of that will cure a lot of these problems, which again would add to his point of, do we even need that player? I mean, like, I don't know. And I don't think we will know until Arnie comes in and we sort of, start to see what style of football we're
If I
playing.
ask you guys as well, last season, can Liverpool win a game 1-0?
No, not the way we played under Klopp.
No. And that's an issue. You look at Arsenal, they can. Right? They can win a game 1-0, 2-0.
Because they give up the ball.
Yeah.
Because
Liverpool can't win it. And when everyone was blaming the forwards for a lot last season, the forwards felt like they had to score 2 or 3 goals every game to win the game of football. In reality, my forward should be scoring 1 or 2 goals, and the game's done. And you manage the game professionally from there, and you win a 2-0 game of football. You shouldn't have to win 3, 4, and 5-1 every single week. That becomes draining and impossible to carry on for a whole year. It's just impossible.
No, it's true, bro. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I think that unpredictability that Klopp used to bring.
Didn't we win a League Cup?
The unpredictability that Klopp used to bring to us which is why I love the way Klopp played in comparison, is when you play the way Arteta plays, you're right, James, you've got a lot more control in that regard, but you also become very limp when it's not working. And this is the reason why Arsenal couldn't beat Fulham, couldn't beat Aston Villa, teams who figured out how to play well against the way they play. The unpredictability of a Klopp team, which was brilliant, was that no matter what the situation was, we could get out of it. Towards the end of the season, of course, we didn't. But generally speaking, the way he played, look at Newcastle. We were down to 10 men for the majority of that game. But then the unpredictability of the way we played, we snatched it at the end, because Arsenal couldn't have done that. And I'm not doing it in a shady way. I'm just making a comparison that they had way more control over a game than us. But they couldn't change the game in the last 5 minutes like that. Do you get what I mean?
But it's a balance.
It's a balance.
It's a balance. But you need dogs as well. You need dogs. The problem with Liverpool's team right now, we're not aggressive enough as a team. Klopp, I think, said it last season when we went to press, like, we're trying to pass without no pressing. We're playing a high line with no pressing, so we're not aggressive enough. If you're playing that way, you've got to be super aggressive and brave to do it. And if you do it correctly, you'll go win games of football. And that's what Liverpool used to be so good at. But the problem is, like Cal said earlier, when you buy someone like Gravenberch in, and Klopp weren't thinking of leaving when we bought Gravenberch, what was the future plan for Gravenberch in his team? The way he plays doesn't make sense to the way Klopp wants to play.
Drift. I don't know if you remember when we signed Gravenberch.
I disagree with that. Sorry.
I don't know if you remember when we signed Gravenberch, we did a stream straight away, and you and Matt were taking the mick out of me saying, Cal, why aren't you more happy and stuff? It was never to do with Gravenberch. It was the fact of we already had elegant and flair type players. We didn't have anyone combative. And it's like, I look at Gravenberch and I kind of feel sorry for him to an extent, because if we do switch to a 4-2-3-1, if he plays as one of the pivot players, he's maybe third choice for that position. If he plays as a 10, he's probably third choice 10 as well. So he's like, where does he really get that momentum to build? Because I think he's a momentum player as well. Where does he get that momentum? Where does he get that continuity for him to go and really become the player that his potential shows he could be?
I hear you. But he's such a super talent. We just got him while he was a bargain. I believe that was truly what we did. We thought a player of this quality available for this price. Let's figure out what we do with him once we've got him. Because I think people forget Gravenberch is so good, Like, I truly believe people forget just how good Gravenberch is.
No,
You've got to find a way to fit him in.
I think the reason why I said I disagree with Jamie's and even possibly even Cal's point is because one of the unique things I used to love about at least the back line, at least, was that the Matip style runs where you're advancing the ball with long runs, the ball at your feet, and you're quick and everything else. Yes, big up to it, right? But even so, with Gravenberch has the ability to get from point A to point B very rapidly, and he's also able to utilize his dribbling talents. So when it comes to it, I know I just referenced an actual center back, but all the same, you at least have that outlet that you can advance the ball without trying to pass it. You can advance the ball to Gravenberch, and he can carry the ball from box to box, and he can get there with speed, and he can also get there with the ability to hold on and maintain the ball. The difference. I love the fact that we have Thiago, for instance, that was supposed to be this, regista, and he was going to be able to like pinpoint passes, and we can be able to because he's often the outlet of our back line was going through Thiago. Maka came back and started doing some of that role for us as well. But when it comes to Gravenberch isn't going to be giving passes to that front line. He's going to be more so carrying the ball from the box to the other box. And that's one unique thing about Gravenberch that I was excited and hoping we'd be able to see more of.
Yeah, but you're not going to play like that. Like back then, though, I know it's a slot team now, but back then Klopp weren't thinking they're leaving, and Klopp don't play that way. So, so I don't understand the transfer in a Klopp era. In a slot era, it might be completely different because we play to his strengths. But in a Klopp era, for me, the Gravenberch deal it didn't make sense because of the way we wanted to play. Look, I'll ask everyone right now. Everyone wanted our midfield to be more creative and more goal scoring, right? Cal will know this. I never did. I was happy the way it was, right? What was the more creative midfield? The Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, or the midfield we got now?
The midfield we got now is more creative, but I
Wrong.
think you not think so.
No, the midfield we had under them three were more creative because creativity can be seen in different ways. They won the ball back extremely quickly, kept the opposition in their defensive third, and gave it to our forwards like that to get us in goals.
That's true, but we also had Bobby, Mane, and Salah all in their prime as well, which made it a lot easier. Not taking anything away from that midfield because that midfield is goated for me.
We win the league if we had that midfield right now. We would have won the league this year if we had Wijnaldum.
No, I disagree because we weren't clinical enough up top.
No, we wouldn't have needed to be. We'd only have to win games 1 or 2-1. Remember when we won the Premier League? We won most of our games 2-1.
Yeah, true.
Wouldn't have needed to be clinical. We have to be clinical now because
I don't think we need to score more goals. We need to concede less.
We need to concede less. Yeah,
less stupid goals, and we didn't even concede that many this season. I think we were the third.
We concede chances. That's the difference.
But it was just the problem is that when you concede stupid chances all game, it doesn't even matter if the other team scores. That gets into the mind of every player. Now all of a sudden, every time I'm about to take a risk, the thought comes into my head of, is this risk going to then therefore give them that opportunity on the way back? It's another problem. As a fan, we look at it very black and white, but football is a game full of color, right? It's a whole color wheel. There's a million different ways to look at it, and you have to look at every aspect of it. So in this way, I would kind of agree with Jamie because I would be more confident in winning the ball back, and I would also be more confident in not conceding silly opportunities because I'm not letting them get to that point. And if you solve that issue, you also may solve the issue of the frustrated strikers, because I could flip the coin and say that there's a possibility that the reason why these guys weren't scoring was because A, maybe not every single chance was clear cut, but B, if you do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get frustrated. And if you get frustrated, that leaks into every aspect of your game, which means that you lose composure, which means that you don't finish chances. You give up silly transition opportunities.
And I think if we look at the way Klopp played, and this nothing against him because the way he's playing was super exciting and enjoyed to watch, but it's not fit to continually win Premier Leagues. You will win titles, don't get me wrong, and you will compete. But you would not go, it'd be very difficult to keep going back to back because of the risk and reward football that we played. But
I disagree.
Still.
I don't think the tactics in terms of Klopp. See, here's the thing. I think if Klopp were to play his style of football, but he'd have to be more aggressive. No, not just him, actually. The club would have to be more aggressive in the transfer market. We'd have to basically transition the team on a more regular basis. We wouldn't be able to hold on to players for 5-6 years. We'd have to transition those players after maybe 3 or 4 years to keep the freshness in the team, which is not something we've done historically. So,
but that's impossible to do as well.
I don't think it would have been, because when I say refresh the team we'll refresh players every 3 or 4
years. I thought you meant that.
No, I'm not saying the whole 11. I'm saying
there's 2 or 3 players
and just keep it ticking over. We never did that. We kept players too long, and those players who we kept too long, we just ran into the ground, and then it looks like they've fallen off a cliff overnight. But really and truly, anyone will know if you do long distance running, you'll be fine, and then you might hit a brick wall and you just bam, you're done.
That's our system's overrated because let's look at Real Madrid.
No, they're underrated.
I look at Real Madrid and I go, what system do they actually play? Me and Drift are doing this on the watch along in the final.
They don't play a system.
They
bro.
don't press. They don't really sit back. They just sort of like.
They've just got the best in the world, James. That's all they do. They literally, that's their system.
Play.
The best in the world.
They play. They really should have lost most of their games in the Champions League this season, but still won the damn thing. It's a weird one, and Ancelotti lets his players just play. You know, I think there was a video of him talking about, when Mbappe, will he come back and defend? And he's like, why do I need him to come back and defend? He's a striker. And I love that sort of thing about him. So I don't know. Maybe we look too much into systems, and we should just let players.
We say we shouldn't have kept these players for this long, guys. How long has Cruz been at Real Madrid? How long has Modric been at Real Madrid?
Yeah, but how do they play
at Real Madrid?
How do they play?
Yeah, I wouldn't compare any of our players.
They don't have a system.
They don't have a system. You say they don't have a system. Is it just a system that's so fluid that it's easy? It's hard to just depict and say this is what they do.
They play freestyle.
No, even Ancelotti said
everybody's world class.
Even
they
Ancelotti
play freestyle football, but everybody's world class, so it works.
If it was freestyle, they wouldn't win. The Galacticos played freestyle and never won really much. They've got a system.
Galacticos would
have
won the Champions League if R9 never got injured.
If
R9 never got injured, Galacticos would have won the Champions League.
But we've seen Ancelotti lose players. He's just. I think Ancelotti's so underrated when it comes to tactics.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest ever.
He just moves with the game. He's not saying I'm going to do this every game. He just moves with it.
He has the system, but it's a very basic.
Yeah, it's basic.
It's a very basic system. He's not a Guardiola. He's not a Jose Mourinho. It isn't all like mad tactical and you've got to know what you're doing. He can show you quickly what you've got to do and you understand if you're a world-class baller.
What's the best-selling phone in the world?
iPhone.
Android.
And why do people buy it? Because it's simple.
Because they're brainwashed.
Well, no, effectively people do it Western world, right?
I'm joking. By the way, the Apple guys coming and
but hold on.
This was the number one selling phone in the world, but
But the one thing I'm going to disagree with here is that I don't like looking at Real Madrid because you have two head coaches in your midfield. Like Toni Kroos is a head coach's mind in a world-class midfielder's body. Like Liverpool, you cannot. Like that, I don't care about what Carlos' tactics are. You have someone who's in the game, who's feeling the game, not observing the game, who's able to make tactical decisions on the same level as world-class managers, but he can actually make a difference. A manager just yells. He can actually do something. So can Luka Modric. So Real Madrid, I think that they're an absolute exception. And also Manchester City. City could have, they could make the same argument with the fact that you have Kevin De Bruyne, who is probably the most genius player in world football right now on the pitch. Like Liverpool today, I don't think have that midfield general who is a head coach. Maybe we did in the past, but right now we don't. So I don't know if it's the most logical comparison.
Liverpool used to have it in Jordan Henderson. People might laugh.
Yeah.
But he
throw
was
that book higher, Jamie.
He was at people might laugh, yeah, but he was actually
always screaming.
He was our coach on the pitch. James Milner.
No, I'll do you one better. James Milner was our coach on the pitch when he played too.
As well. They
I don't agree with slapping a simmer.
You don't agree with the James Milner one? Is that what you said?
Well, Bobby Firmino was our coach on the pitch. I got more here. Hang on. This guy ruined it. Hang on.
I agree there. Jordan Henderson was a midfield general. Absolutely. He was always screaming, especially if you watch the COVID games over again and you the only voice you can hear on the pitch is Jordan's every game, all game.
Sometimes, you know what? I think we, as not us here on the panel and people in the chat and all that, but majority of football fans underestimate players like Jordan Henderson and the value they have to football
and James
teams.
Milner.
And
I've
James
been
Milner.
saying this for months and years.
And the geezer, what's the geezer's name at Chelsea that all Chelsea fans hate? It's gone out my head.
Oh, Gallagher.
Conor Gallagher. They underestimate how important these sort of players are to your team.
100%.
You need these players. Not every player is born naturally gifted with technical gifts and all this, but they've got other parts of their game that are as important as that technical gift another player has. And you need that mixture in your team. You need that balance. And for me, Liverpool at this moment in time, although we did extremely well this season, no one's denying that, I don't think we had that balance between that going on, because some of them are quite young. McAllister, when
people though, that's
if they need a slap, they need a
But
slap.
we've got to go back to that. In the 80s and the 90s, it worked, Cal. We're soft now. This 2024 era where parents get the police called on them by their kids. What's going on, bro? I remember the days where if I did something wrong, cuff round the head, and I moved on. I understood
from your
what was
parents,
going on, bro.
From your parents, not from
Milner was a parent. Milner was the daddy of the squad, bro.
He was.
If you needed a cuff, you get a cuff, bro. What are you doing? Simicast glitched, Cal. Wake up, bro. I'm serious, bro. Like, we need some of that, man. There's nobody who's gonna pull everybody up in the team now and go, bro, what are you doing? Milner, Henderson, these guys used to grip people up. I want someone who grab you by the shirt and be like, what are you doing, bro? I don't want all this nice. We're too soft. We're too nice.
I reckon.
And also, I don't know.
Does that in a different way.
No, we're
I'm about to say,
nice,
Virgil be smacking people in the back of the heads.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Virgil don't. Apart from the Simicast celebration, Virgil's usually on point still.
But Virgil does it in a different way. He's so laid back that even when he's shouting at you, it don't
Virgil
feel
just
the same.
looks at you. You just get the look,
When Milner's screaming at you,
just gives
you
the look.
get it.
He just gives you a look.
Like,
there's people in the chat saying I wanted Henderson and not all that gone. By the way, I did, because at the end of the day, their legs are gone, so they needed to move on. Last year, the year before they left, they were awful. But it doesn't mean I doesn't respect what they did in the years before. And I was sticking up for Henderson. I was the one on here a couple of years ago, when people were talking about Henderson and the contract situation. I'm sticking up for Jordan. So, it's just that their legs went when they're at a certain age, and it was time to move out the club. Everyone knew that. So people can't come at me with that.
It goes
shit.
back to what Mike was saying earlier, to bring it full circle.
I'm going to shoot. Big up to you guys.
Big
Everyone in the chat, smash that like
button.
button. Guys,
Love
you guys
you,
will lead.
bro.
Enough love to you guys. We'll catch up properly as well.
Yeah,
I'll give you a
big
shout
up,
as well.
bro. Yeah. Big up, G. I bring it back to what Mike was saying earlier when he was talking about having a rat in your team. And I hate Bernardo. There's a lot more personal things about Bernardo, like with that whole racism thing he did and all that kind of stuff. But like, in terms of like him being a rat, like, I get it. We've got nobody in our team who's a shithouse. Like, you need these guys if you're going to win.
Robbo.
Yeah, but Robbo's like a nice shithouse, Jamie. He's not like a horrible, you know what I mean? He's still a nice guy. His character's still lovable. He's like, we need some real shithouses in our team.
You need a parasite. You need your own parasite that works.
You know what? We need a. Do you remember Doug? Do you remember Costa for Chelsea? You need somebody like him who's gonna.
Yeah, but I need someone like Costa who actually I know their actual age, because that man was old from time. But this is what I said at the beginning of the video, though, about like we're not as aggressive as we used to be. Mane used to be dirty, as I said, used to throw them elbows and stuff in, and get in people's faces. Do you remember when Hendo got in Costa's face that time in the Chelsea game?
Yeah,
I just stood there and like, come on, bring it. I'm here. Just do it.
Ronaldo was no pushover.
Yeah,
Fabinho was no pushover.
And we haven't got that right now, which I think is why we're actually quite easy to play against at times for oppositions, because we're not aggressive enough. And that's not just the midfield. That's the forward. That's the whole team right now. We're not aggressive, and I think that's what we need. We need some bastard blood in the team.
But who's also a brilliant footballer.
Exactly.
Bruno's made a good point. Roy Keane, absolute world-class footballer, but a shithouse. We need like Rodri. Rodri is a shithouse and a world-class footballer at the same time. We need a few of those in our team. We do. And to bring it full circle, do we believe that Nevez is the type of guy who can come and do that?
No.
At 19, I'm not sure. I think he's too young for that right now.
Too young.
25 is our oldest midfielder.
I like, Bruno Guimaraes. He's a bit of a bastard.
He is. He's a good. He's a good example of someone I'd like someone who comes in and starts to kick people, but in a good way. I don't want people who are going to come in and be horrible and break legs and stuff. But Bruno Gomes, he will kick you. He'll let you know you're in a game. He won't let the midfield be out-bullied. He won't let the midfield be dominated. He will get stuck in. I do believe we need a few of those people in our team.
Fabinho was a great example of that kind of guy. A nice stiff challenge in the midfield to kind of keep your eyes up, buddy. Otherwise, you're going to literally hit a brick wall.
Yeah, 100%. And I do believe we need a few of them. I've always said this. I've said this for so many years. We are a bit soft. I love that we do things the right way, but you don't win always doing things the right way. There's a reason they say the nice guy finishes last, because being a bastard sometimes is a necessity. And we need a few of those in our team. We're very nice.
Yeah.
Go on,
Dennis
bro.
Rodman. I was just gonna say we need a Dennis Rodman. If anyone is a basketball fan, you need someone like that. Like you need a bully. Like you look at teams in American sports, or I'm sorry, North American sports. There's many teams throughout different sports throughout history who like that was their whole thing. Like if you look at the Pistons, when the Pistons won the NBA championship, or you look at the Philadelphia Flyers and the Broad Street Bullies in hockey, like it's a big part. And like I would agree, I think that there were also plenty of spells during the season where we were just lacking intensity, like basic intensity on pressing, where we just look like we don't want it. Whereas 4 years ago, it didn't matter what the score was. We looked like we wanted it more than them. And you need the catalyst in the team, whether it's a midfielder, whether it's a forward, whether it's Allison, whether it's Virgil. I don't care who it is, but you need the guy to basically round up all the troops and say, do you want to be here or not? Because if you don't want to be here, leave. And I'm going to bring on whoever I need to go and, perform at 110%. So whether or not it's a pest, I think that we just, for lack of a better words, we're just soft as baby shit right now.
It's look at Endo. The reason I like Endo, he doesn't mind putting his body on the line either. He doesn't mind getting smashed, Pauls. But he doesn't mind it. He likes to, he'll pull a shirt. I remember, last time watching some of our midfielders letting midfielders just run past them, and Endo came in the team and was like, "No, they're running past me. I'm going to get booked to pull a shirt back." I don't. I need that in the team. There's nothing wrong with it. It's part of the dirty part of the game that you've got to have in your side. Look at the Man City; they're the dirtiest, but they're also the best.
And that's because they are in the image of Guardiola, who was literally that. He was poetry in motion and aggressive in the shithouse, all in the same player. If anybody actually remembers, Guardiola was literally the definition of technically gifted, but a shithouse, all in one player. And that's what made Guardiola such a good player. And he's got his teams that play exactly the same way. And we just need a few of those. And we'll see, because Klopp was always more nice than he was nasty. We'll see what we do under Slot. Slot might come in and he might, I don't want to stereotype Dutch people, but Dutch people are a lot more about the flair and the attractiveness than they are the dirtiness. So it will be very interesting to see. Like off of the top of my head, I think Edgar Davids might be Edgar Davids and Ronald Koeman are the only examples I can think of like a shithouse Dutch player where like it's all about getting stuck in and
Frank Rijkaard.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is, these guys are still beautiful footballers.
Yeah,
like, even though they got stuck in, they were still beautiful footballers.
Yeah,
so we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Before we round up, though, let me hit a couple of these supers because they have been piling up. Oh no, hold on. We did that one up. Yeah, we did that one. Big up Jay, who says Slot isn't as much like Klopp as the fans think. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see just what he does bring. Why would Elise come and be backup? Jay also says that's going off of what Jamie was saying before. I don't think it'd be backup though. I think it'd just be a part of a squad. I think that's what we've got to remember as well. Because Salah's not going to play as much football, I don't believe, as he has done in the past.
Unless Salah goes into the number 10 position, you buy a new right winger.
And that's where I want him, James. I want him centrally. I want Mo moved into the middle.
He's got that creative spark in his game now. He's a complete footballer now, in my opinion, than he was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you see his assists for Egypt this week as well. They're outrageous. And they're all coming from that more central position. And I don't think we've got a better passer in our forward line than Mo Salah either. So.
No, 100%.
And if you make him that floating 10 where he can just drift about from left to right around the 18-yard box, you know, and do his thing, get in between the lines and not have to worry about his pace so much.
And the crazy thing is, anybody go back and watch Mo Salah at Basel before he made his move to Chelsea? He was a 10 playing centrally, and he was creative as hell. A lot of people don't realize when he was younger at Basel, he was playing centrally.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people forget that. So he's just
played a few games for Roma in 10 as well.
Yeah. A lot of people forget that. Honesty says, according to Ben Jacobs, there is no deal between Crystal Palace, Chelsea and Crystal Palace. And Palace. Crystal Palace have to speak to Palace first, and that hasn't happened yet. Chelsea don't play by the rules, honestly, though. We all know Chelsea don't play by the rules. Honesty also says, question for Jamie. Can't you say the same thing for Isak, Tony, Watkins, players LFC fans want at Liverpool, and who says they can handle the pressure? Going back to you saying about how they're more free without the
with Watkins. The thing about Watkins, which is I've just realised, I found out today that he's had a therapist, ain't he? That he talks to before and after every single game for Villa to get him up to standard because he was struggling.
Oh, does he?
And then he hired a therapist that, or a psychologist or something like that. He literally talks to him before the game and talks to him after game. And he says that's progressed his game even further this season. With Ivan Toney, I'm not sure about Toney. I don't think Toney's this top tier talent. I think West Ham or Tottenham could do with an Ivan Toney. I think that's his level personally. And with Isak, I think Isak's the most clinical striker in the Premier League, in my opinion. But I don't think he's a massive goal scorer. I think he'll get you 19, 20 goals a season and he'd be clinical. But he's the one I'd have out of all them three, if you're asking me. Isak will be the one, to replace Jota. If we're replacing Jota with anyone, it'd be Isak.
Would you pay the 120 mil? That's been rumored to be what Isak would cost, though.
If Isak guarantees me between 15 and 20 Premier League goals, then 120 million is worth it, I suppose, ain't it?
Would it not be easier to just keep with Nunes and just hope he gets only 4
I'm
more?
not saying Nunes.
That's a big hope. That's a big hope.
This is if Jota goes for me. Because I've got a feeling Jota might be the one who leaves this summer and not Diaz. So
I'd be devastated if Jota.
Because of Jota's injuries and not his playing ability, is the injury issue with Jota.
I'll be
and Isak could be that perfect. Isak and Jota are quite similar in my opinion, so that kind of change there would be perfect. And then look, put Isak up top and play Darwin just next to him in a 2, and then Salah just behind or something like that. It'd be madness.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Ganga Deep says, can't say certain players should stay at specific clubs to become they have the freedom to express themselves if they want to play at a higher level with a better chance of winning individual and team honors. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, gang, but I also do hear where Jamie's coming from, where we do live in a world where nobody is willing to be a Louis Zaha or a Matt Letizia anymore, where they kind of have a little bit more self-awareness of like, I'm brilliant here. It might not necessarily work if I look at Steve Sidwell.
Yeah.
What a player he was till he went Chelsea.
And then
Danny Drinkwater, like all of these players, and then what are they now? We laugh at them, but they were brilliant players at Charlton.
Matt Letizia as well. Matt Letizia has mentioned this as well. He's said this many times. He said, I could have gone to any club in the Premier League. I could have gone to Arsenal or Man United. They wanted me the most. But I knew if I went to them clubs, I wouldn't be the player I am at Southampton.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
You've got to respect self-awareness, which is very rare in modern humanity, never mind football, to understand that I might be balling out here, but is it going to work somewhere else? Do I just go and get a paycheck and end up looking like I'm a crap player? Because, like I said, Steve Sidwell, Danny Drinkwater, these are perfect examples of players that at Charlton, at Leicester, were brilliant. And then they go to the big club and we laugh at them now. But why? Because before they got the big move for a reason. There was a reason these guys got bought by big clubs, because they were playing extremely well when they were at a lower level. But it just didn't work. Not everybody can be a Mahrez or a Kante and go from the lower club and still be exceptional at the bigger club. It's a gamble. It's a big gamble.
And it's players with freedom. It's like it's not just on the pitch; it's off the pitch. Like with Letizia, his training regime was a bit like Matt turn up when he wants because he's Matt. If he went to Man United, the limits on him, everything off the pitch will be different as well. It's also what you have to do off the pitch as a player. You're a bigger celebrity if you go to these teams as well, and players might not like that as well. So, and that's
Parker.
not so. I've not won.
Remember how good Scott Parker was before he went to Chelsea?
Yeah, Scott Parker. He was the face of McDonald's at one time when he was a kid. If everyone
brilliant footballer, and then he goes Chelsea, and now everybody thinks he was a crap footballer. He was a brilliant footballer. It just didn't work when he went to Chelsea.
That's why I'm always like, don't chase the money and fame straight away. Think about it. You've got long careers. It's not. These days only 22. He could still get the Liverpool, Man United, or Man City or Chelsea move when he's 26 comfortably and be a superstar. Do you know what I mean? That's just me. Maybe I'm a bit romantic like that.
This is where I definitely did agree with Jamie when he was like, at Crystal Palace, Elise is a star. He's not a star at Liverpool. He's just one of the lads. Can he deal with that himself? Can he cope with not being the man anymore?
How about this? It's not even in London anymore.
Yeah.
You guys some of the takes I get, but let's be honest. I mean, living in Liverpool and living in London are two different things. And
Liverpool's a goldfish bowl, 12th man.
Yeah,
it's a very small, confined. Everybody knows each other city. London is big. It's glamorous. You can hide in London.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very, very true. I think people forget about a lot of those things. Big up Honesty, who says Villa needs to sell Kamara. Oh, sorry, needs to get Kamara. Oh, sorry, they need to sell to get Kamara.
Villa are in trouble still, even with this sale. Because they're getting rid of Douglas Luiz. The Juventus are getting Wilson, what's he, the American player?
Yeah,
McKennie.
Who's nowhere. So Villa, I just think of it like this, guys. Villa's midfield next season is going to be McKennie and Ross Barkley.
It's literally a totally different midfield.
So they've had to sell their best players because of the FFP reason. This is my talk about earlier about money being spent. Villa have just qualified for Champions League. They should be on a cloud 9 right now. But they've got to sell players and get worse players in just to keep FFP happy.
That's
Barkley is a very sensible signing, though. That's a very sensible signing.
He's 31.
Shut up. Is he 31?
He's 31, yeah.
When did that happen?
I know.
How is Ross Barkley 31? What the fuck? Go on, 12th man. Go on, bro.
Because Jamie keeps saying that point about Villa, but there's reasons for that. If you look deeper into it, or if you research more about it, it's because Villa has a wages to turnover ratio of the 4th highest club in the Premier League. And I asked this question on my channel earlier because I just wanted to see if people even have an understanding of what's going on with finances and the other aspects of it.
Yeah, it's all wages.
Can you name the 3 other teams above them in the top 3 places?
Chelsea, City, Arsenal?
Jamie?
No, but I think it's, I believe it's still Nottingham Forest and Everton and...
turnover. My bad. Never mind.
Because it's about the wage turnover, and it's the
My bad.
And that's what I was getting at, Jamie, too. With Nottingham Forest and Everton and Leicester being
they've only just got promoted.
Part of the Prem, and you're right, they're about to be a part of the Prem, but that's what makes you go those are the 3 largest teams with the biggest turnover, and that means all employees' wages being involved in it. That makes a difference. And there's got to be stability. I understand that there are those clubs out there that are pushing, like your Villa might come up with a lawsuit against the Prem. That's supposed to that might be happening next. Yeah, we already know about the lawsuit that's going on right now with City against the Prem because they want to spend more. There has to be some type of stability because you can go out of business real quick, no matter how rich your owners are. Okay. And it's just that simple.
These rules are
just because your owners are rich doesn't mean they want to spend money on a club that is losing money.
It's all about auditing. It's all about auditing, yeah. So if I'm Manchester City, I could sell you this phone at Man City to my friend and convince him it's worth 100 million, yeah. He would give me 100 million. With that 100 million, I could spend on players.
Right.
That's basically what City are doing, and there's no one who can audit that. Right.
Right.
But with Villa and everyone else, we can't do that because it'll be audited. So that's why Villa. So I don't feel it's right that Villa, who've got Champions League football and had a tremendous season, now have to offload better players and buy players in that are nowhere near as good as the players they're selling, just so they don't get done. How are Villa ever meant to catch up?
That's because also though, 12 months ago, before they or 12 months or 2 years technically now, I guess, before they started spending all this money, they had a 300,000 profit or something like that. It wasn't phenomenal, but at least they were in the profit margin. So to go from a positive of 300,000 pounds, and then the next year, despite getting Champions League, being 119.6 million pounds in a deficit, it's a major difference. Yeah. And if they and now they're fighting to spend more. Someone's got to be the adult in the room and say no.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Liverpool. I will say this, though. I will say this. I think Liverpool could take advantage of a lot of teams this season because we haven't got them. We haven't got them restrictions on us.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Liverpool, if they're sensible, they could really take advantage of the situation. I don't care if we buy 3 players in. Yeah, and if you're spending 50 million on centre back or 30 million DM and 70 million forward, right? As long as they work and do the job and they fit the system the manager wants to play, I don't care if I've ever heard of them. If that makes sense. You know, as long as they do the job, you know, you could go and get a player that you've heard of. Look at Paul Pogba. I think Paul Pogba was one of the most talented midfielders of his generation, but he went to Man United twice and it never worked. Does that mean Paul Pogba's a terrible footballer, or was the system and everything around him not suited to his abilities? So he had to go elsewhere to play. And I always feel like transfer. I feel like sometimes people want. I watched that player 3 times. He's going to cook for us, you know. But what about the 38 times you didn't see him? How well did he play then? Do you know what I mean? That's what I look at with transfers. Yeah. It's mad with transfers. It really is.
Yeah.
No, I agree, man. I agree. Honestly, he's back with a question on Gravenberch, who he rates a lot. If Ryan becomes a sort of player like Yaya Toure, not comparing, but box to box, driving with the ball, I don't think he's got the power to be able to be compared to Yaya Toure.
Ability, you know?
But he's got ability to do the box to box.
He's got a shot, Triff. Come on, he's got a shot. He's had some. He's had some.
Talk about Yaya has some different level power.
I'm not comparing him.
Yaya
could literally shrug people off like Thanos.
Yeah.
Like he could just literally like.
He ran like a stallion when he had the ball, didn't he?
Yeah,
it was different. Do
you remember the goal he scored past Crystal Palace when we were fighting to try and win the league in 30?
He just knocked people out the way.
He's just knocking people out the way. It's just like get out the way, get out the way, get out the way.
Yeah.
I don't think Gravenberch can do that.
But Gravenberch is faster than Yaya. I'll give you that.
Oh, I don't know. Even Yaya's top speed was
really
quick, you know.
I think Gravenberch is
right.
I think he's not as quick, but he's got great stride pattern.
Okay.
Where he can eat up ground really quickly, if that makes sense. Where he hasn't got that massive speed, but 6 strides for him would be like 12 strides for a trotter sort of thing.
That's why we compared him to Matip. That's why I compared him to Matip. Like Matip's not fast, but I mean when he gets moving and he's able to move those legs like he is, like
when he brought out the ball from the back into the opposition's half, he'll be there in like 2 seconds because of his stride pattern was so big.
Yeah.
Because he got 12-foot long legs.
The best way I would describe Gravenberch, and I hate to always give opposition credit, when Man City bought Mateus Nunes, what they were really trying to buy was Ryan Gravenberch. Because what he would have done in a Man City team would have been what they thought they were going to get by buying Nunes. Do you get what I mean? Like that box-to-box midfielder, brilliant on the ball, good in possession. Do you get what I like? I think if you asked Pep, he would have said, yeah, I'll rather Gravenberch than Nunes because he would have settled in and he would have fit the way they want to play a lot more than what Nunes did. And Nunes is probably actually, ironically, more suited to the way we play. A bit more rough around the edges, a bit more. Do you get what I mean? Like, has that kind of like ruggedness to him.
I think Gravenberch is a better player, though. I'm actually glad we got Grav. I think Grav will be absolutely fine at Liverpool. My only concern earlier was like, I don't know how well he would have done under a Klopp system, but now changing systems to a slot system where, you know, I think he might come on more. I'm excited for Gravenberch next season to see what he does because there's no doubt about it. There's an absolute baller there, and we just got to see it.
No, I agree, man. I agree. Honestly, big up Honesty. He's been killing it with the Supers today. Big up yourself.
My Dutch brother.
It said, how can Darwin cook for Uruguay, which is a lot more pressure compared to Liverpool, in my opinion, because South America take football very seriously. I don't know if I'll say it was more pressure, but I do love the fact that it proves that it could have just been what he was being asked to do at Liverpool. If you look at how well he does play for Uruguay, and I use the same example for Diaz. Both of these players look like an absolute different footballer when they play for their national team than when they play for
more freedom, ain't there? There's more freedom.
Yeah.
You know, you got more time on the ball, pitches are bigger. You're playing sometimes against inferior opposition to what you do in club football. So,
Núñez looks like a predator though, Jamie, when he plays for Uruguay, which is what everybody cries for him to be at Liverpool. And that's why I believe there's a part of me that thinks it was the way we play, why he wasn't allowed to do that.
I said this all along, got shot down.
I don't think when you come to inferior opposition in South America, I don't think that is a word that is often uttered. South American has some of the best talent.
Oh no, I'm talking about
no, but he could be playing Costa Rica. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know who he scored the hat trick against. Like for all we know, it could have been against Guam.
It was Mexico.
And people would be like,
no, it was Mexico. Mexico. Yeah, it was very good opposition. He got the hat trick against.
Aston Villa would beat Mexico. Do you know what I mean? That's the that.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
I don't know, bro.
Aston Villa would beat Mexico. You know.
Okay. I don't know, Jay. Right. I don't know, bro.
I will suggest you do not go to Cancun or
I'll go there.
or any of those cities.
I'll go to Cancun and sip rum very nicely.
Beautiful there. It's beautiful there. It's
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, but again, like I said, it's one of them things.
It's a different game as well. International football, club football is totally different.
No, but international football is definitely slower.
I mean, he was a part of. Look, he scored against Argentina. He scored against Brazil. Those are competition levels that are exceptional. That's my point. I know I'm a big Darwin supporter.
He's got one more year.
But you have to. You can't say. Oh, he's just scoring against like the Dregs.
No, but hold on. No one's
American team. He's scoring against some of the top clubs in the world.
No one's trying to say like. I think that Darwin Núñez is a good footballer, right? The problem is that the one part of the game in the final third, he rushes decisions. He makes poor decisions. He goes for power when he should go for finesse. He goes for finesse when he should go to power. He shoots when he should pass, right? And he doesn't always do that because he's scored wonder goals. But to me, like again, you mentioned Argentina. If you look at that goal that he scored against Emiliano Martinez, Darwin Núñez literally just puts his laces through it. Like there's no, like that ball could have gone in. It also could have hit Martinez in the foot. It just happened to go right underneath his butt. It was directly at Martinez. Martinez fell, ball went under. It wasn't like a calculated finish. And you don't see that from Darwin, which is my major problem. It's the composure, right? It's not him as a footballer. It's his decision making and his composure in front of the goal.
I know you said you're Darwin sexual or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I love him. I love him.
When he sound like Michael Owen? Like when does Darwin ever get any props? Like he does the little dink over someone to score, and all of a sudden, he should have never done that. He scored like an incredible volley against Bournemouth or something like that. Oh,
because it's not consistent.
That was just a lucky shot. He comes in and scores two incredible goals against Newcastle. Oh, that was just luck. He scores against Argentina. Oh, he just hit the ball. When does it ever get to the point where this
Darwin's talking about? He's not.
I understand why he's probably shutting down.
That chip he did that Mark Owen was talking about is not consistent finishing. Because if you remember rightly, he tried it again just before the end of the season. It went miles wide. It's not consistent. That's what he's meaning. It's not consistent. Look, the thing with Darwin, I'll say this, yeah. Darwin will never be a clinical finisher. It doesn't. That's not an insult. But he can score lots of goals. Mo Salah is not a clinical finisher, but scores lots of goals. There's a lot of strikers in world football right now that are elite strikers that I wouldn't say are elite finishers, but they score lots of goals. Right? Darwin has got. We can't sit here and for a team that's so attacking like Liverpool does. He's only got 20 Premier League goals in 2 seasons. For me, that's not enough for the money we paid for him.
For the amount of chances that he has, he
has a lot of chances. We can't
fourth
sit here and
worst
pretend he doesn't
conversion
have
rate in
a
the
lot of
league.
chances. If he does this next season, so guys, next season, if Darwin's only got 10 or 11 Premier League goals next season, what do we say then? Because that'd be 3 years then. Do we go? He's not going.
And if he has, and then let's just up the tally then. Since he already had 30 some plus GA, let's say he has 40 plus GA. Are we going to be like,
What's GA got to do with
10 goals?
What's GA got to do with anything? I play in the Premier League. He got 11 Premier League goals. That's not
GA got to do with it.
Well, we can't dismiss the
Jamie, you're really going to go there and say what's GA got to do with it? Look, I get you want to drop Turner lines, but like on some real, like, what's GA got to do with it? GA means that he's a part. He's actually a part of the system.
Okay, hold on. I've got the perfect kicker. This is why I don't love to look at numbers so much, right? Because a player could have 25 Premier League goals, right? But what if of those 25 Premier League goals, they were only actually scored across 14 different games, right? I look at that number much differently because he impacted the games less. Like, ultimately speaking,
how many game winners did he have then? Because he's had a few game winners.
But hold on. Regardless
what is
of
mad?
his
What is mad, Jamie? Come to the mic and talk. I just say it.
Regardless,
GA matters.
But
wait,
hold on.
I've been told again. Once again, we're going to a point where the goalposts always change. Like, as in, I was just told all these things about his shooting and his and everything else, and now I'm being told, oh, numbers don't matter and this and that. But yet the first thing that you guys use as your reference points as facts was Jamie with his goals, and his goals and assists don't matter, but goals. And now you with your point,
this isn't what I'm saying, and I wasn't able to finish.
That would mean that they're utilizing numbers.
No, go on, Mike. Finish your point. Go on.
Finish what you're saying.
Okay. Regardless, you can. Okay, there's two sides of the coin. You can look at his game winners. Ultimately speaking, 11 Premier League goals, right? And now, if I were to flip the coin and say, okay, how many times did Darwin's error cost me a goal? And that number is so far above, it so far exceeds the amount of times where he actually put the ball in the net with a goal or an assist, that to me it becomes a problem, because there were many times in which he made the wrong decision in front of the goal. Manchester United, perfect example. He had the opportunity to play a centering ball back to a wide open Dominic Soboslai, but what does he decide to do? He kicks it directly into the person right in front of him.
At Anfield or
away.
Okay.
He did that away. Luton Town. Listen, I get it. Ryan Gravenberch had just as bad of a miss Brighton away, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's a terrible miss. Like, I'm sure if I went back and I dissected the season, there would be many times in which I could say that. And the problem I have is that I have more of those than I do of the times where he did his job. Like, I love Darwin. I just don't think that it's consistent enough to get me guaranteed results. Can he win me games? Yes. Can he score wonder goals? Yes. Can he create opportunities? Yes. But will he
player so far?
But will he consistently get me the job done? That I can't rely on, and I will take consistency over anything. I'd rather have a player score me 20 goals over 20 games, impacting 20 separate games, than 20 goals over 10 games. Right? I want consistency across the board. I don't want to see.
I agree with that. I agree with that, and that's why I said that Harry Kane is a much better striker than Haaland, because Haaland will get 2 or 3 goals in one game, but won't score in as many games, as you said, Matt. And I agree. The year he broke the record for the Premier League, he actually scored in less individual games than Harry Kane in a Tottenham team that finished 7th. So I agree with you. I would prefer that. But the one thing I think me and 12th Man are trying to get at when it comes to the Núñez thing is the goalposts seem to be moved all the time. And people will say me and 12th Man are doing the bias towards Núñez, but we can blatantly see the bias against Núñez.
Which
because
is fair.
No matter what happens,
that's all I'm pointing out.
People will always say something to suit the narrative that they want. If Núñez gets a winning goal against Nottingham Forest, instead of loving the fact that he got the winning goal against Nottingham Forest. They'll harp on about the 2 chances he misses against Aston Villa in the following game, when instead they'll agree. But if there's 4 other players who miss chances against Aston Villa,
the only person gets pointed
Nunes
out
it's not just Nunes why we didn't beat him, but Nunes got the winner against Nottingham Forest. But people go, so what? He missed those 2 chances, and that's the only thing that we try to say. We know, I don't want to speak for 12th man, but we understand Nunes has to do better.
Absolutely.
We understand that he cannot have glaring misses in games if you play for Liverpool. But we also don't want people to keep running with this narrative that everything about him is negative and that he doesn't impact games, because that is trying to go
he impacts games.
Way.
No, I wasn't making that point, which is why.
No, I know you weren't, because I know
he's an excellent football player. The problem is just the consistency at the end of the line. Like now, could we replace that with someone else? Maybe. Diogo Jota unfortunately doesn't stay healthy enough, but it still doesn't change the fact that goals over multiple. Like, I'd rather have someone spread me goals throughout the whole season than to look back at the end of the season, what you play 60 games and you were involved in only 35, but you had 70 GA. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'd rather you have less GA, but all of it.
Mike. I get what you're saying, but those numbers would be, if he's got numbers like that and he doesn't have that many hat tricks, or he doesn't have games where he had like 3-4 assists in a game, it's obvious that he's been getting some type of involvement or inclusion in the process of this.
Yeah. But anyway,
I mean, like, if he's got that high of a GA, that means he's contributing in one way or another. And he's not. And then again, he hasn't had hat tricks. He hasn't had big games like that in the sense of for us just yet. But that's just the case.
Anyway.
Yeah, look, let's not go about that. I promised myself I'll never have another Darwin Nunes conversation.
I know, I apologize. I just sometimes
no, it's no one's fault. It's just I mean, Honesty's been killing it as well with the supers. Big up yourself, Honesty, tonight, brother. Honesty also says, did you guys know that West Ham have got richer owners than us? Yeah, I think a lot of people. Aston Villa have got richer owners than us. Everton have got richer. Yeah, they've only got like 2.5 billion, and I say only like I wouldn't die to have 2.5 billion.
That's not personal wealth drift. That is what that's what FSG are worth.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not individual wealth. Individual wealth. We have one of the poorest owners in the league.
Yeah, that's true. But
I think he personally only has like 100 million. I think he only flies like a G5. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that rich.
I would love to be so rich, but still be called poor. You know, I pray for it. I pray for the day when
he's rich to us. He's rich to us, but he's poor to rich people.
Yeah. Which I think is a beautiful way to live, if I'm being honest. You know, I'm richer than most, but I can't talk to P. Diddy and them man there. Actually, that was a bad reference.
I was gonna say, might not be the reference anymore. But you're definitely not Bill Gates, but you're also not some Joe Schmo.
I'm just saying, and also just real quick that what N said was pretty spot on, in that 10 more goals. We're saying that Darwin Nunes is possibly one of the best players, if not the best player in the Premier League. If he has 10 plus.
No, we're not.
But also at the same time, like that's a massive if, considering that he had like
I just said not. I think it was like, I just said if
7th worst conversion rate.
Yes,
out of the whole league.
I just said 10 goals.
Where Liverpool fans keep moaning about DMs and centre backs,
you'd have 50 plus GA.
What I've learned today is that Liverpool fans are very happy if a striker only gets 11 Premier League goals. Right, that's cool. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But remember, what you have to do is you have to add the context and say all of our forwards got 10 plus goals. Because remember, if it was only Nunes scoring, I'd probably be slightly on you lot's wave of the frustration. But when you had the fact that Gakpo got nearly 15 goals, in all comps, Diaz got nearly 15. No, in fact, they did, didn't they? All our forwards got 15
all our
goals
forwards
in
got
all
double
comps,
digits.
right?
Yep. Double digits.
Gakpo, who everyone wanted out of this football club and barely plays his right position, got 1 goal less than Darwin. In my opinion, if Gakpo plays number 9 the whole season, he gets more goals than Darwin Nunes.
I would agree with that too.
I haven't got any issue with that. But he didn't get anywhere near as many assists, though, James. That's the thing as well.
Yeah, but some of his assists were 5 yards to Mo.
But some of his assists were brilliant, bro.
Like I
Some of
said,
Nunez's assists were brilliant.
some agendas are just.
I actually think Darwin's a very good passer of the ball, so I'm not going to disregard that. He's a very, very good passer of the football. That's one of the things I will give him credit for. But I watched back season, and a lot of the Darwin assists were like Darwin standing there and Salah standing there. But then some of his assists were outstanding where he's going left wing and he's crossing in and stuff like that. So I'll give him credit for his passing. I've always said that about Darwin. His passing is actually very good.
Ty makes a good point here as well. I know we're doing the if, buts, and maybes, but 9 of these misses hit the post. That's 2 inches the other way, and it's in.
Yeah.
It's like
look, I'm not being funny. 2 more inches backwards, I'm in the arse. I mean, do you know what I'm doing?
But also, the only if you want to live on the GA number, like I get it, but like you also have to live with the fact that he's got. I mean, I think it in total it was either 10 or 12%. It might have even been a lower conversion rate, and that's pitiful.
Bring out the rate. He has a low percentage rate, Mike. I get that. I mean, I'm only saying the GA once again because everyone talks about goals and assists. That's the only thing. That's currency. But then again, if you want to go past that and you want to get into deeper statistics, sure, I can go there. I can go there with you too, because he also produces the most. He has the most touches. He has the most creations in the box. He has all these different little statistics that say he's active and he's creating, and he's a fierce competitor when it comes to that back line. That's why I call him the Nevez sword, because he is a raider of that back line. He makes problems for teams that we go up against.
No, I agree with that.
To not say that he doesn't create problems, if not create spacing that allows for that assist, all those assists to actually happen, is why I'm bringing up the point. Again, the conversations, everyone wants to go, it's just goals, it's just goals, it's just goals. I go, okay, cool. And then I bring up the GAs and then everything else. And then it gets transferred into, let's go into his conversion rate. Let's go into his conversion rate. And I'm like, okay, well, then
a striker.
Let's bring all the other statistics.
We are living in a world that he's a striker, yeah? So he's a striker, his job is to score goals. Nothing else, right? His conversion
not under clock, though, James. Not under clock.
We don't.
So
who are we blaming? Are we blaming Darwin for being a poor striker on Darwin or Jurgen Klopp?
I think it's 50-50 on the whole situation. I think Klopp asked him to do more than he should have, and I think Darwin should have also done better than he should have. So I think it's a 50-50.
There's nothing more I want, by the way, than Darwin smashing 25 goals in the season next year in the Premier League. I'd love that. I want Darwin to do that. I've already said.
I'm going to tell you something I shouldn't do, because I should keep our private conversations private. I really should keep our private conversations private. So shout out Matt, shout out Callum, because I know them lot are probably going to be like, Drift, you shouldn't really do this in public. But I'm going to do it because this is what it is. I asked them guys, this is behind the curtain. I asked them guys yesterday to make a bet with me because we had a full-on half-an-hour discussion about this behind the scenes. And I said, all right, I bet you both £50 that Nunez scores more goals than Isak next season. And they both wanted conditions on how Newcastle will be, who Newcastle will buy. And I know I'm airing dirty laundry, but apologies, guys. It is what it is. I've got half a bottle of grouse in me. I asked them and none of them would take it. And I just said to them, if you lot believed Isak was so much better than Darwin the way I'm being told he is, there wouldn't need to be stipulations on what the deal was, right? It would just be take the bet. Isak will score more goals than Nunez next season. So I'm just asking, if everybody thinks Nunez is so rubbish, why wouldn't anybody take my bet?
I want Darwin to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League.
I don't want to bet against my own player. Like I don't hate the guy. Like I have nothing against him.
My brother's still in the building.
Big up.
My brother's still in the building. I just want to know why I still want to know why Matt and Cal wouldn't take my bet. Isak versus Nunez next season. Who scores the most goals?
Right.
If you give him equal amounts of opportunities, Isak will score more because his conversion rate is probably double that of Darwin Nunez. So,
but it's less pressure though, Dan. How do we know Isak will ball out of Liverpool? His injuries are a bit of a problem.
I think
his availability.
I'm going to agree with you there. I'm not the biggest Darwin fan, right? But I do like parts of his game. I think Darwin will score more goals next season just because I think we're going to play a little bit differently. And I think if you play in someone like Darwin in your team, he's got to be your main guy, your main focal point in attack. for me. And if you look at Uruguay, I think he's now Uruguay's most focal point in attack. If Suarez isn't playing or whatever, he's the main focal point. If last year he's not the focal point, Salah and Diaz are. If you're playing Salah in the number 10 position behind Darwin, playing Luis Diaz on the left, you buy a right winger in, he's got pace to get down that side of the pitch. Automatically, Darwin becomes more your focal point. So if he's more your focal point and you slow the game down and he's getting in the box a lot more, then he probably will get a lot more goals next season. There is part of Darwin's game I like, right? I just feel like he is a striker, or we got to have discussions, but maybe he's not a striker. He's just a forward that can play natural other positions, because 20 Premier League goals in 2 seasons isn't enough, and it's not great. I think we can all admit that. It has to be better. The conversion rate needs to go up a little bit. But there is part of his games I like. Darwin's movement in the box, I think, is fantastic. His movement off the ball is top tier. I've always said that about him. His passing is really good. His passing game is really good. He just needs... I'm looking at Premier League goals. I'm not really caring about what Europa League goals, FA Cup goals. I'm looking at Premier League goals because that's why we bought him, to win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. That's why Darwin Núñez was bought to Liverpool, because if you look at his conditions in his contract, they're Premier League and Champions League based conditions. So I'm looking for him to be our top goal scorer in the Premier League. So the only way he's top goal scorer in the Premier League is you make him Liverpool's focal point.
Jamie, here's the point. I'll bring you in, Das, in a minute. Here's the point that's crazy. And this is what I'm trying to say. I can't believe I got caught up in this, but Núñez is just my guy, innit? Look, this season,
I thought that was good.
No, you didn't. I'm saying like, because Jamie, I've been having these arguments with people all season. So what I've heard a lot of is Núñez isn't been doing the goals in the big games. He hasn't been a big game player. He hasn't been scoring past the big teams. Nobody said that last season when he scored against Man U, Arsenal, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Man City. Nobody cared he scored past the big teams last season. Now he didn't get enough. Then this season, he gets like 18 goals, but then people go, who was it against? It was in the Europa League. It was against Bournemouth. It was against... And I'm like, so hold on. Why do the goalposts keep being moved whenever we talk about Núñez? Because last season, he scored against Real Madrid, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, and everyone didn't say, oh, but at least he's getting the big goals. They said, hey, he doesn't get enough. It's like, I'm sick of the goalposts just constantly being moved on Núñez. Every time I'm trying to just have a practical, rational conversation about Núñez, the goalposts get moved left, right, and center. And I'm just wondering if people are too caught up in that. I don't think he's good enough. Fuck him, get rid of him, rather than just having a normal conversation about his contribution since he's come here is nowhere near as bad as people are making it out to be.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I've said this about Julian Alvarez at Man City as well. I don't think anyone spoke about him enough. I don't think he does enough.
I rate Alvarez. I think
he's a good footballer, but no one spoke about him last season. I don't think he does enough. The only reason no one talks about him because he only cost 14 mil.
But the last thing that I'll say about Darwin, for the record, I don't want to get rid of him. I never said that I wanted to get rid of him. I would keep Darwin Núñez because at the absolute bare minimum, he's the kind of guy that you bring in at the 80th minute, who's got fresh legs, who will destroy the back line and then create an opportunity for someone else. But to me, what I would rather see than another season of him being told to play in this floating 9 position would be either you're my target man or stick him on the left wing, because he looked better on the left wing in every single appearance that he had than he did in the 9 for the whole season. So you could put him on the left wing or you change the way that he plays the 9. I just don't think that we can go into this next season and play him the same way, because if you do that, we've done that for 2 seasons now, and you would be, by the definition of Albert Einstein, insane to think that it would make any difference if we did the same thing.
I agree. I think a lot of Darwin's faults is mental and not physical.
Yes,
100%.
And I think
100%.
he may, what I said earlier about Ollie Watkins getting like a therapist in or a psychologist or whatever it was that he spoke to about his game, and he keeps them now and talks to him before and after games to improve his game. And he's put that down to more than anything why his game has gone up a level. If you get something like that and help Darwin out mentally like that, maybe you see a better player, because he has got a lot of physical attributes. And I've always said this about Darwin. If you put him up for sale tomorrow, in my opinion, big clubs coming for him, huge clubs, because he's got electric pace. His off the ball movement is very good. His movement in the box is excellent. He's got to work on his offside running. That has to be, he needs to get that. He needs to work on that part of his game. And
or maybe the midfield needs to work on getting the ball when he's going to be making the runs. Maybe that's
well, there is points last season where he just blatantly stood offside.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs a. Yeah. But I think again that's mental because he weren't doing that the season before. Do you know what I mean? He weren't doing that the season before. So I do think a lot of Darwin is mental. I think Darwin knows, he's not stupid. He knows hitting the ball as hard as you can when you're 5 yards out is not the correct finish.
Well, I also
that's not the correct finish.
I don't know though, James. Sometimes the power beats the goalie, bro. Like
does Robbie Fowler, the clinical finishers, do that?
Think about how many soft shots that Salah has, and we're like, I can't believe he just hit the ball so soft.
Yeah.
Where's all Salah's power gone? And a little bit more power and Salah scores, bro. But he's doing these pea shooter shots and then the keeper can save.
Yeah, but he's pea shooter shots always.
It's a balance. It's a balance. No one's saying to do it the whole time. Like you gotta pick your moments. Like you have to pick, like no one's saying that you gotta, flop the ball in there, but at the same time, like it to me, what I see is sometimes I think that it's almost like his brain shuts off and he goes to his instinct rather than going to like what should be done. And I think that more often than not,
I agree with that.
The instinct is wrong. Like, but the thing is that if you were to get someone like a sports psychologist and you taught him a way to control those thoughts and to be fully attentive on the game.
They have, by the way. They do have, this year he will have someone.
Which is unbelievable because he needs it because the whole deleting of the Instagram thing, like to me that was like the perfect that was like the perfect tell that the mental aspect isn't there, because if you delete every picture of Liverpool but you stay at Liverpool, like something clicked and you made it public, and so to me probably reflects on the pitch. But if he were to get that fixed, he's like, I don't think anyone can question his ability because the dude scored a back heel flip against Thibaut Courtois. Like the guy can score world-class goals. He's not a bad player. It's just all here. It's all here.
That's what I'm saying. It's all mental. Because he does look. I've always said it. When Darwin plays, we are more of a threat going forward. I've always said this because of his pace. But I don't know where. If Darwin had these stats, 11 Premier League goals as a left winger with everything else he did, I'll be like, that's great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic what he achieved
as a winger. Yeah.
The fact that he is a striker, is Darwin an out-and-out striker? Is he really a number 9, or is he more of this sort of like floating forward that can play left, can play through the middle?
Jamie, do we have a striker? Under Klopp, I know it's different, but we can only go off what we had. Under Klopp, did we ever truly have a striker?
No, our best player.
Where we played in our system.
Our best was false 9. It always was.
It was always.
That's what I mean. So Nunes, Klopp himself said, I asked Nunes to do a different job to what people are trying to describe him as. I never told him you're just a striker. I asked him to
do the Bobby role as well, which ain't his thing. And
exactly
that's why I said next season, if you make Darwin the focal point, you might have a different Darwin, because he weren't. Let's be fair, he's not the focal point in this Liverpool attack, is he?
No,
it's Mo Salah or a Luis Diaz. They're the main focal points. But if it's changing next season and that the focal point is going to really be your number 9, and in Slots teams, his focal point is always the striker. And if that's going to be the case, maybe Darwin is better next season.
We're actually going to get. We're going to get it out of bed.
The only comment that would be would his conversion rate go up? But I would say that if Darwin had confidence and you fixed the mental aspect of it, and he was more composed in front of goal, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't get a better conversion rate. I'm not saying he's going to get to Erling Haaland's 35% 2 years ago.
He doesn't
need to. He just needs to get to like anywhere between 15 and 20%, and you're scoring 15 or more goals. If you get to 20%, if you get to 20% conversion, you're probably scoring 20 plus in the Premier League alone, because you're going to probably get 100 chances in front of goal,
And I
or at
don't
least
need
have
assist.
100 shots.
I don't need a
Exactly.
system, Darwin, either.
If he's in the 9, if he's off the left next season, then what he does right now in terms of numbers is perfectly fine with me. 11 Premier League goals as a winger, I'll take that all damn day.
Yeah, with his assists and his goals as a winger, I'm perfectly fine with that. The whole thing is that I don't think Darwin's ever going to be that old-fashioned number 9 that people crave for. I don't think he's ever going to be an elite finisher, which is not a problem, by the way. It's not.
You don't watch his international play. I do. He is a.
The problem with international. No, the problem with internationally, you don't play internationally every week.
What I was going to say about that comment was, and this is why I was trying to say with Sanderson show, Cal said something to me, is because I get that, yes, he's missed opportunities, he's hit the post. I understand that. I want to see his conversion rate go up. I'm not trying to debate that. But what I am saying is that you spoke about offsides earlier. And what I'm saying is that on Uruguay, they look for him to make those runs, as opposed to on Liverpool, we look to have build-up. Hold on. We look to have build-up play that develops differently. That's all I'm trying to get across, is that on Uruguay, they are looking for him to make that run. So it's almost like a telepathic link to some of his midfielders that he's going to be making that run, because he makes it all the time. And whether it's training or whatever with them, they understand that. But at Liverpool, different story. They're tending to, they don't necessarily give him that through ball as often as Uruguay. Nothing to do with international play in the sense of the competition. It's just more so the way that it's set up with the players he's playing with.
I agree, and that's what I agree with you, Torben. That's why I said the focal point.
Right.
For Uruguay is the focal point. So because it's the focal point, the players are going to look for him. For Liverpool, it's not the focal point. It's Salah.
I want to know what his conversion rate for Uruguay is. Yeah. That's what I want to know. I want someone to find out. Look, Uruguay appearances. What's his conversion rate?
I don't know what dirty laundry I'm supposed to be airing, Cal. I just told the people that I asked you lot to take a bet and you lot wouldn't take the bet. That was it. I don't think I said anything out of pocket.
I'm going to say something right now. Darwin Núñez will be Liverpool's top goal scorer next season. There you go.
That's the kind of energy I want.
There you go, Jamie.
That's the type of energy I want.
And I'm only saying that because I believe Salah might play a deeper role next season where he's more creative.
I want anybody right now, right here at 1:27 a.m. in the UK. Big up Jamie for being up with me this late as well. Big up you guys. I want everybody to hear me right now. If anybody's willing, first come, first serve, because I'm not betting all of you. First come, first serve right now. Who wants to test me on this? There's absolutely no doubt in my mind Núñez will hit 15 plus Premier League goals, 25 plus all competition goals next season. Who wants to take my bet? For everybody who believes Núñez is this dead footballer who ain't good enough, who doesn't want to do anything, take my bet right now. 15 plus Premier League goals, 25 plus in all competitions. Who wants to take it now? Because you all think he's this deadbeat, shit, can't do nothing player. Who wants to take my bet right now?
If he gets the same amount of chances, if he gets the same amount of chances that he got last season, it should be more than 15 goals. That's all I'll say. But I would never put it past him, because he has the capability to score 30. Like he can he can get enough chances to where if he had a 20% conversion rate, he'd score 30 goals. Like the problem is, is he gonna add?
No, but here's the wickedest thing, because I see Matt piping up. I see all my brothers piping up. This is what family do.
15 Premier League goals is what he should be getting, though.
Because here's the caveat to it. If people think 15 goals isn't enough, I can understand if he's the only person in our team that's supposed to get goals. If it was Ivan Toney at Brentford, I can understand that might not be enough because he's the only one truly scoring goals. Liverpool have a plethora of forward players who will be scoring goals. I think Szoboszlai will chip in. Salah will be getting his normal goals. Then you've got Gakpo. Then you've got Diaz. Then you've got Jota. We have a plethora. How many goals does everybody think an individual is actually supposed to get? People are pretending like football isn't this real life situation and this is a computer game. How are we supposed to have all of these forwards who all get 20, 30, 40, 50 goals a season? How is this supposed to be realistic? I just want to know, because remember, Núñez isn't the only forward at Liverpool who's trying to get goals. Every striker is trying to get goals at Liverpool. So are we supposed to have all of our players getting 45 goals a season? Like, what are we doing here? I just want to ask the uncomfortable questions, because we know Salah will get 30 goals. We hope Jota gets 20 goals. Gakpo should get 15 to 20 goals. Diaz should get 15 to 20. So how's Núñez supposed to also get 45? So what? Are we going to score 200 goals next season? What we've got to be realistic here. We have to be realistic. We have to be realistic.
About two wingers that like to go.
Núñez isn't the only player at Liverpool trying to score goals. I don't get this.
I just want a better conversion rate. I don't really care about the goals. Better conversion rate.
That's why I kept talking about the focal point. This is my whole thing. Like the 12 man was saying earlier with Uruguay, he's pretty much the focal point for Uruguay now. That's why people find the passes to him.
Right.
For Liverpool, let's face it, Darwin Núñez is not the focal point of Liverpool's attack. You know, and if you make Darwin the focal point, then things might change. But yeah, there's nothing more than I would love. And I think I know Cal said this yesterday, there's nothing we'd love more than Darwin to score 25 to 30 goals a season. There is something about him. You know, when Darwin doesn't play for Liverpool in the forward line, we don't look as aggressive and, you know, as quick and as, you know, and he does create chances for himself. I'll give him credit. I said he's already a good passer of football. There is stuff there about his game. If you put him up for sale tomorrow, I think big teams in Europe come in for him. Big teams. You know, there's a player there. I just need to see it. I just need to see him next season. Because if we're sitting here next season, guys, and it's third year in a row and he's only got 10 or 11 Premier League goals, do we then need to have that discussion? Because that'd be 3 years in a row.
I mean, I know context would need to be added, Jay, but I get that. And here's the thing. I don't even think me and 12th man are trying to do that. We don't see where you lot are coming from.
No, I agree.
We do understand where you're coming from, but let me flip the narrative then, based on what Mike was just saying, which again, I understand. All right. So if Núñez only scores 10 goals next season, right? But his conversion rate is 84% because he only got 14 chances. Is everybody going to be okay? Or will the narrative change and everyone will go, why wasn't he doing well enough to create more chances? He wasn't making good runs. He wasn't in the right position.
I'm good with that. If he's got that and that's all he's had, then that's
but James,
brilliant.
You will be, and I believe you. But I guarantee you, everyone else will go, well, his game wasn't good enough. Because how was he not making good enough runs that he only had 14 chances? What was wrong with him? Why wasn't he doing this? Why wasn't he doing that? I just know the goalposts are going to be moved every single time until Núñez is like Lionel Messi and he's just getting 20 goals, 20 assists, and he's you know what I mean? Like,
everyone's coming for me. Everyone's coming. Big up Matt and Grizz coming for me about the passer comment.
He's a great passer. What are you watching?
If you go and see some of his actual assists, he's actually been a pretty decent passer this season. You know, some of his assists this season, you know, and some that he's passing in that final third. That and I'm not Darwin's biggest fan. I believe Darwin's passing is better than Luis Diaz's. Right, in my opinion, in the final third,
agree with that.
In the final third last season, I believe Darwin's passing was better than Luis Diaz's. I'm not saying he's like a Kevin De Bruyne passer or anything like that. I just think his passing is actually pretty good.
I think it's better than Gakpo's in the final third.
Sorry, Chris. We'll have to.
I think it's better than Diaz's in the final third. I think the only person in our front line who has better passing than Darwin Núñez is Mohamed Salah.
I also put those statistics in the chat for you, Mike, by the way. Or international. You asked for international.
Oh, yeah. 6 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, scores every 92 minutes. See, I would be fine with that. Like,
yeah, that'd be fine.
Because that's in international qualifiers. That's not like some friendly or something like that.
So technically, that's pretty much one a game. Like, if you do it by the number, every 92 minutes, that's one a game. I would be perfectly happy. Like, to me, my biggest thing is just conversion rate and how are we using him. Like, I'm not against Darwin Núñez. I don't want to sell Darwin Núñez, but you know, I don't want to rely on my goal, on my number, not my focal point to have 12% conversion. Because if I'm focusing everything on a 12% conversion, that means that if I want to score as many goals, what did we score? Like 90 goals this season? or like let's just say we scored 100 goals. That would mean that I would need to create 1,000 shots. If I'm getting 12% conversion, and I don't think there's ever been a team in history that's even come remotely close to 1,000 shots in the Premier League.
I got my man Cal coming for me. I got Matt coming for me. I got Grizz coming for me.
I'm telling
guys,
you, bro. Look,
I'm not even a Darwin fan, and I love you all. I will make a compilation up of Darwin's passing last season. I'll make a compilation up.
All I'm saying is, and I know where you're coming from, James, because I get this all the time on and off camera. I just want to know why I'm not allowed to use stats when I say 31 GA, which is very impressive for a season, because stats need context. But then everybody just wants to say big chances missed. Okay, what was the circumstance under that? But we don't add any context to that, do we? We just say big chances missed. Like, it's like I said, I don't want to keep going on this Nunes whirlwind. It's crazy. I know Daz has to jump off as well. I know we've got one more topic we want to talk about. But let me get through these supers. Nunes is always going to do. You know what? From now on, Nunes is banned from Kop-Ish conversation. I'm not talking about my brother Nunes anymore. We're not doing this because it always goes left. It always ends up like this. Let me get through these supers and then we will move. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what? The amount of people, if he has an unbelievable season, that are going to be doing the Captain Cal Sparrow and jumping on and being like, you know what? I never said anything bad about Nunes. I've seen it.
I'm telling you right now, I'll get a Darwin shirt. I'm here for the hypocritical stuff. Don't worry. But the thing about it, look, we can have a fun debate about it, and it's all cool. You know,
it's all laugh.
And that's what I love about
player.
it.
He's just a guy who plays for Liverpool and gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a week to play a silly game on a big grass pitch. There's nothing against him personally.
He's also a guy who knows how to swerve people on road that are trying to troll him. Shout out to him for actually knowing how to avoid being embarrassed. He knew exactly what he was doing.
You're talking about that. You're talking about that kick streamer who he just was like, nope.
Yeah, he tried to embarrass him and he wasn't having it.
Chris,
but yeah,
Chris, I will give you a compilation. I'll send you a compilation on your Twitter, man, of Darwin's passing.
Let's go through this before we move on to the last topic, guys. Honesty again, big up yourself. Honesty says, do you guys know what? Oh no, we did that one, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we did that one. Big up. Would you guys take Griezmann for 15 mil? No, I wouldn't. Would any of you guys
be about that as well?
Unfortunately,
no, I don't think he would work in our team.
Yeah. Question from Honesty again. Which big player will flop at the Euros or the Copa America? Who will be the breakout star for you guys? Darwin Nunes is going to be the breakout star at the Copa America. You heard it here first.
I think Lucho. I think Lucho is going to be the breakout star for Copa, and
I mean, technically, I guess the breakout star's got to be an unknown, isn't it? You've got to be like an unknown.
Well, I think because I think Colombia is going to do a lot better than a lot of people have them possibly doing, considering, you know, we're talking about Brazil, we're talking about Argentina, they're talking about some world powers, talking about Uruguay, you know, you're talking about what's that?
Argentina. I think Argentina will win the Copa.
No, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying that it'll be a breakout. He'll definitely be more of a name.
With the Euros, I'll put a bet on Jota being top goal scorer, you know, if he plays.
That's a shot.
I have a feeling Mbappe is. I know that this is batshit crazy, but I think that Mbappe is not going to be the guy for France this upcoming.
Mbappe is the most overrated footballer of his generation, but that's another conversation.
Oh shit!
That's a whole can of worms. That's a whole can of worms.
To go. I can always trust Jamie to just rattle things in there. You know Matt's gonna be. You know you just rattled Matt, innit? You know you just rattled.
It doesn't mean he's bad. He's a world-class footballer. I'm just saying, like 15 or 20 years ago, Mbappe ain't even in the top 20 of best players in the world.
Cal's smiling right now while he's rocking his baby to sleep. I'm telling you.
You know, he 20 years ago, is Mbappe.
I told you.
No, guys, think about this. 10 or 20 years ago, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, is Mbappe in the top 20 in world football?
I think
in the last how many years, sorry?
20 years ago.
20 years ago?
Is he
20 years ago, I don't think he would have been in the top 20. Not 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's 2004.
Yeah,
Talking about
2004.
2004, 2005. Yes, I think Mbappe is still
Do you
top
think
20
so?
in 2004, 2005. I believe so.
Hold on. Let me think about it. That was when, like,
is Mbappe better than Vinicius Junior right now?
no,
At like today?
not
form?
after the season that just happened. No,
Is
No.
Mbappe a world-class international footballer, but just a very good club footballer?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go into Real Madrid and cook. If anything, I think that you could start to see a little bit of a clash of styles. I still think Madrid are going to be amazing because
I think Mbappe for France is out of this world, but for club football, I think he's a different player.
Oh, do you know, we could do a whole video on that. 20 years ago, 2004, when you had the likes of Iron Robin,
I'll give it to you.
Schweinsteiger, when all of these boys were around, would Mbappe have still been a top 20 footballer?
Shevchenko.
I'll tell you this.
That's a very interesting conversation.
I think Shevchenko was an incredible player, but I think Mbappe is a better player than Shevchenko.
Is Mbappe a better club player?
I'm trying to bring that out because Jamie Shevchenko won the Ballon d'Or in 2004. I'm trying to say that.
Is Mbappe really better than Shevchenko?
I don't think he's a better club player. This is the thing. Mbappe for France is out of this world, and no one can disagree with that. But for club football, Shevchenko was a better club player than Mbappe is, in my opinion.
Is Mbappe actually better than Shevchenko? Because I think people forget that peak Shevchenko was ridiculous.
Oh, he's a beast. He was
absolutely ridiculous.
And like Matt's saying there about Mbappe got a World Cup hat trick. That's what I'm saying. How
about this then? Is he better than is Mbappe better than Drogba?
Yeah, Mbappe's better than Drogba.
Okay.
I would probably say he's better than Drogba. Yeah,
just talent-wise, yeah.
I don't think
Drogba was 17th in the voting.
Guys in the chat, I don't think you understand.
Drogba was 17th in the Ballon d'Or, by the way.
Yeah, Drogba's a good player, but he's very overrated as well.
But you said top 20, and that's what I'm trying to get across.
I don't think people understand what I'm trying to say. For France, I believe Mbappe's the best player in the world when he plays for France, the national team. But when he plays club football for PSG, I don't think he's the best player in the world, club football wise.
I do get what Joe do like.
What I'm trying to say.
You know what? Look, I don't know. Like, if somebody said to me, "Who's better out of Mbappe and Ribery?" I've really got to sit down and think about it. If someone said to me, "Who's better, Mbappe or Luis Figo?" I've really got to sit down and think about it. Like, it isn't just a simple conversation. It's not a simple conversation.
It's not.
It's not because Mbappe is playing in a generation where I think football is extremely lacking of true talent.
Sorry, Chris, I do apologize.
20 years ago, I still think we had real. That's why when people say who's better, Henry and Mbappe, I think it's a really silly conversation. It's not even comparable.
No, Henry's
Mbappe can't talk to Henry in any way, any shape, any form.
Or club or international.
He just can't. I'm sorry, like he just can't. But he is a superstar in this generation. In this generation, Kylian Mbappe is an absolute superstar. But you compare him to yesteryear, I don't know.
Am I actually talking to madness here? Because I think international Mbappe is different gravy. He's the best in the world internationally. When it comes to club football and I watch him for PSG. Does he look like a world-class talent at times for PSG in the Champions League? For me, no. He barely touches the ball. He barely gets involved. He barely does anything. He just sulks around most of the time. Does he look like that world-class player like he does when he plays internationally for France? This is what I'm trying to say.
It's a conversation. It's a conversation.
Sure.
Right, let me just hit it. All right, let me try and get through these supers and then we'll move on. And again, Das, let me know when you got a goal as well, brother. Honesty says which player? Oh no, we did that one. T1 says Chelsea fan. Nunes reminds me of Jackson. Huge potential, but are they ever gonna put it together? If Nico has a second season like Nunes, I would be disappointed. I think that what Chelsea have to do is make Jackson a winger, and then they're all good. I think he's a very talented footballer who's not good enough to be a striker. Not clinical enough, sorry, to be a striker. But if you play Jackson on the wing, and I've argued this with Matt and Callum, he's actually got very good feet. He's actually got good ball retention. He's quick. I think Jackson would make a very good wing forward. If Chelsea know what they're doing, they will make Jackson into a winger rather than a striker.
He's
That's
not a
my
striker.
opinion.
He's a winger. Yeah, Jackson's a winger all day long.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Honesty says Pep Linders said out of his mouth, we don't have a single goal scorer. We score goals as a team, even though some players score more goals than others.
That's just stupid. Because we don't score goals as a team. We score goals in transition with goal scorers. So
Adnan says Nunes is a flop signing like Keita, Thiago, Minamino, Melo, Solanke, Karius, Chamberlain. I love Nunes, but I hate him. Regret the bought jersey. Fucking hell, there's a lot to unpack there.
buy fake jerseys. They're like £14.
Was Ox? I think everyone forgets how good Ox was when in his first season.
And Keita was riddled by injuries. Like you can't blame Keita for that.
I also don't think Minamino was a flop. I think if you buy a player for 7 million and he does what Minamino did, it's more of a rather than a flop.
It just didn't work out.
Minamino's not a flop.
Minamino won us both our cup doubles. That's
I think Adnan, I think that's a bit harsh on Minamino. I'll be honest.
Too, but yeah.
Minamino's balling out at Monaco right now as well. Like
he didn't get used correctly.
It also wasn't a big investment, so like you can't consider it a flop. Like I consider a flop a big investment.
Solanke, you made shitload of money on. Yeah.
Wouldn't a flop be someone that you lose money on when you actually sell them again too? I mean,
yeah.
I've got Matt coming at me now in the chat.
Oh,
you know what? I'm just gonna keep my mouth closed now.
Matt's hungry. Don't listen. No, I'm joking, brother.
But Matt, give me your address. I'll order you a quick Morley's.
I can actually answer this one. This is so easy to answer. But sorry, go ahead.
None. Oh, yeah. I'll let you take this on then, bro. Can someone tell me why we barely cross the ball into the box anymore? Because Jota and Darwin are both decent in the air, and it really pees him off.
Super simple. 2019, 2018, we created from our wing backs. Recently, we try to create through slow progression in the midfield. You can't cross the ball from the midfield. The creativity doesn't come from the wide parts of the field because Mohamed Salah is not the kind of guy to do that. Harvey Elliott does it. But Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah are not those two guys, and we don't create from our fullbacks anymore. It's just not the same system. We prioritize midfield possession, therefore you're going to lose more crossing opportunities. It's literally that simple.
Well said, bro. Behave yourself, brother. Behave yourself. Adnan again, big up, bro. Says a weird thing. Nunes has a better shot than Mo. Adnan, that's a whole can of worms that's gonna get opened in the chat. But respect, brother.
Does not have a better shot.
I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm not even gonna touch it.
Even I'm not gonna. Let's not go down there.
You could have picked any other player in the team, but you picked Mo.
Ty says, I can't wait for Calamat to eat crow next season. Can't wait. 20+ season, 20+ goals, and obviously Ty. Big up my brother Ty. He's part of the Nunes army.
Do you know what though?
Bet. He says
Cal and Matt would happily lose that bet if that happened. That's the thing.
100%.
They would.
Cal and Matt would love to lose that bet if that happened. They'd be happy.
They would.
They'd be out of pocket, but they'd be happy.
The only way Cal wouldn't take that bet is if it meant that I was going to keep his Cinnabons. And the only way Matt wouldn't take that bet is if it meant that he had to lose to me on FIFA in front of the rest of the world. Apart from that, I think they would take that bet. Ash, big up says, Mike Jacob
said Vicario is better than Allison.
I could say that I graduated from Harvard. That doesn't make it true.
Yeah, but Jacob's a Spurs fan, and I
was going to say, who's Mike Jacobs? I'm not actually sure.
No, Jacob, United Spurs of America, the boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would expect him to say that because Vicario is unbelievable, and if I were a Spurs fan,
he was shit towards the end of the season.
Maybe, but in the first half of the season, he showed a lot of promise. And if I were a Spurs fan, I would probably want to cling on to anything that I could be happy about. So
there's not a goalkeeper walking planet Earth that's better than Alisson Becker. So
I was a Spurs fan. I'd be crying myself to sleep. But go
Well,
ahead.
Vicario's a very good goalie, though.
I do not agree.
think-
I do not agree with what he's saying. I'm just giving him like context as
shout
to why.
out to Spurs. I'm just joking.
I think I agree with Mike. Vicario's a very good goalkeeper. The only weakness in Vicario is he can't hustle people when there's a defensive set
He's
piece.
quite weak. Yeah, he's quite weak.
Yeah, he seems to get like very rattled easily. But in terms of like shot stopping, playing out from the back, Vicario's a very good goalkeeper.
I think
Very good
Keller is better than
goalkeeper.
Vicario. There you go.
I agree with that, Jamie. I agree with you on
You
that.
think so?
Yeah.
I
I
do.
think Keller is a quality
Don't let-
goalkeeper.
I think Kelleher's better with the ball. at his feet.
Vicario's
Don't
good
let-
though,
don't
you
let
know.
Jacob
Vicar-
hear you.
No, I think
Yeah, but-
Vicario. I think
Kelleher
Kelleher's better
really
with the ball at
plays.
his feet too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Keller's
Look,
a-
I'm not gonna shoot down one of my own team brothers to big up a Tottenham player.
But he's a good.
Yeah.
But Vicario's a good goalkeeper.
BW says Nunes is clear of Miss Jackson. And Honesty also says, even though Mbappe is a great player for France, people really forget Griezmann makes that team work. That's kind of backing up what you were saying a little bit, I guess, Jamie, as well. Like he's better for.
No, I'm not. Don't get me. No, everyone's coming at me now.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm
I've
big up
already said
Emil.
he's world class for France on another level, club level. He's not the
There you
same
go.
player. I
Big
don't
up Emil
understand
here
him.
also says Ipswich away has been confirmed as our first game of the
Can you
season.
imagine? Could you imagine?
12:30 kicker. What the fuck? So Klopp leaves, and then
They
they
still
still
come back after.
shaft
I
us with the 12
First game.
30 kick.
First game of the season too.
Now they're mugging us off now. They're actually
that's a
mugging
joke.
us off.
I think that might be a joke because
Yeah,
I don't think
it has
I
to be.
need to confirm, Emil, if that is actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
Emil
okay,
said
okay,
that.
okay. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Emil,
I
don't
know
do
Emil,
that to me,
Emil,
brother.
yeah.
Don't do that to me. Don't
I
do
know
that to
Emil.
me. And Sharif, big up my brother Sharif, who's also planning something behind the scenes for us as well. So big up, brother Sharif.
Big up, man.
Who says, I just tuned in. Big up, man. First 1 a.m. stream.
Yeah.
Right. Last topic we're going to talk about. I'm not sure, Mike, do you have to dash now or are you able to stay around?
You
for a
might want
bit?
to stick around, Mike. It's something that you might be good at.
Um,
I'm not sure if go with
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I haven't eaten all day, but what's another 30 minutes? Fuck it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Don't-
Oh,
I don't
we're
wanna-
trying not to make
Mike's all in. All right.
we're trying not to make it that long. But all right, 12th man. I'm gonna let you set the pace for the last topic of the night, brother. Go for it, bro.
Yeah. So this is something I brought up on my own channel. I saw also something that I wanted to just verbalize and see what people are thinking on this one. And we all know that Virgil van Dijk has played right center back before. He's also, obviously plays left center back for us, but he plays right center back. One of the key problems on the pitch for us has always been that right side. And would it be out of the question, or would you be for possibly moving Virgil to that right side to possibly preempt teams targeting the right side as much, especially if Trent is going to move forward or go forward or the likes. But the stream is muted because I think maybe.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I hear it.
Okay. So like my question was, could you see Virgil van Dijk playing on the right side, and if that would make a difference, do you think in the back line?
I don't. I'll be super quick, and Jamie, I'll let you go. But I don't think that our defensive issues are at the back line more than they are at the midfield. And I don't think that moving Virgil van Dijk to the right side is still going to change the fact. Like it won't change the fact that we're still isolated there. Like Arsenal away is a perfect example. Like people harped on Konate, our right side needs to be stronger. There's no center back in the world that can guard Odegaard, Kai Havertz, and Martinelli at the same time. Like that's just not possible. And I think that if you shore up the issues in the midfield and in the amount of times that we get caught out in transition, it will shore up the weakness of the right side. That's also not to say that I also wouldn't be against it. Like I don't have a major issue in switching Virgil to the right side and putting Konate or Kwanzaa, whoever it is, on the left. I just don't think that it would solve the problem because the problem is further up the pitch.
The reason why I'm asking that is because so often people don't even target Virgil's side of the pitch. Now, I know that's not just because, that's also, Arabo every once in a while bombing forward. most times we only have two defensive players on our back line. To be honest, especially when we're advanced, we normally have only 2 players on our back line. But would it make a difference to you if that happened? Could you see a difference happening for us in the sense of teams not necessarily wanting to target that because they'll have to go through Virgil van Dijk first, as opposed to a Konate or opposed to a Kwanzaa or whatever those cases might be? That's one reason. I'm not saying that I understand some of the how old Virgil van Dijk is or this or that, yada yada. But I'm just saying that considering that the aura is back, for at least some people have put that the aura might be back for Virgil. Could that be a concept that we maybe utilize if we did move Virgil to the right side, you would be less likely to say, oh, that's the side I'm going to target and try to put out.
I hear you, and you make a lot of sense of what you're saying. I look at. I think Virgil he can start a lot of attacks for us playing the left hand side of the defence, can't he? Because of that diagonal ball he's got. I think that would be more difficult for him to do off the right hand side, being left footed. Here's my thing on it. So I personally think Connor Bradley should be the right back starting next season. I think Connor Bradley. I think Liverpool are really going to look at what Trent does in the Euros, because by the look of it, he's got the number 8 shirt. Looks like he's going to be the double pivot with Declan Rice for England in that midfield area. I think that's the way Trent needs to go. I think if you play Trent in that sort of right-hand side of midfield, and he's allowed to drift into the right areas of midfield, into the to the bar line and get that freedom and do his thing, I think that's perfect for him. Connor Bradley at right back, and then a fit and firing Konate on that left-hand side. And if we're not as defensively open under Slot like we are under Klopp, I don't think it's going to be such a major issue with that. But you bring up some good points. It can be done, no doubt about it. Also, it depends who we buy. If we go and buy, because we're going to need a Virgil replacement, and for me, I think we should look at the Virgil replacement this summer. It's the 4th centre back that comes in, but it's also left-footed and is eventually going to take over Virgil in 2 or 3 years' time. That's what
we've already got him, James. That's Kwanzaa.
Yeah, but Kwanzaa's special. But what if I told you Liverpool got Colwill and Kwanzaa's the future?
Oh, that's beautiful.
In a few years' time, how about we do that? You know what I'm saying? You got Konate and Virgil. You got Konate and Virgil, and Kwanzaa and Colwill. Also, Colwill can play in that left back role as well as a centre back. Left back.
That's the only time I disagree, bro.
Like Man City and Arsenal do, where they play 3 centre backs across the back 4.
Yeah.
You could play.
Also, that would be inverting, though. That would be
so if Trent is playing right back, say Connor Bradley don't play right back and Trent plays right back still, and you go and buy a Colwill and you play him left back, so he just defends as a 3rd centre back in that left hand side area, and Trent's inverting. You got 3 centre backs across the back 3 then that can all play naturally in them positions more than Robbo. Robbo couldn't really understand that position, could he? I think that would work. I honestly think that would work. I'd like to see that. But Kwanzaa's definitely the future. There's no doubt about it. Colwill I'd absolutely love. I don't know if we're just going to be able to pay to afford him. But someone like that, and in Cape, probably someone of that ilk. But here's a great point you bring up.
Look, they attack that side, whether it's Trent's there or not. That's the point. I guess it has nothing to do with just Trent as well. If Bradley's there, then they attack. They still attack, if not even more so. So I mean, what I'm trying to get off is that, one, Virgil van Dijk is someone that is a reliable, has been reliable. His availability has been there. Creates something in obviously right side. That part of the pitch has been predominantly the area that people target. I think if you put your best defender there, are they going to try to target that area of the pitch? No. That's why I'm offering that.
It's a great shout. It's a great shout. And obviously we've been linked with Frimpong. I know that. But the links I've heard that we've been linked with Frimpong is to play him as a right winger and not a right back.
because he's a wing back. That's the thing. I think we have just as many issues with Frimpong playing right back as we do.
Yeah, as we do Trent. But if you're playing right wing, you get more out of him, I suppose. But
yeah,
I think I honestly think Liverpool go seriously look at what Trent does this summer at the Euros. I think Slot might try him in pre-season there, and Connor Bradley at right back. Connor Bradley's special as well. Saw him against Northern Ireland the other day as well. He looks great. I think John don't get what I'm saying. He's saying about Robertson, best left back in the league. That's as a left back. When he has to go and play that centre back role when Trent inverts, we can all see that it doesn't suit Robbo. So if you
I don't think he's the best. He's not even close to the best. I wouldn't say he's the best left back in the league anymore.
But if you get a centre back that, like the way City and Arsenal have done it, they basically leave one inverting and they got 3 centre backs across the back 4 really, and that makes them a bit more defensively stable. Maybe Liverpool might be looking at something like that, which would make sense. And then you got that defender eventually to partner with Kwanzaa in the future, because this defender needs to be sorted, because I do believe Virgil will leave this summer.
Oh,
not this summer, next summer. Sorry, I believe Virgil will leave.
Whoa, JB.
I don't know if Virgil. There's a lot of rumours coming out at the moment that Virgil doesn't want to talk about a contract till January, which is
that's true. That's true.
Which is
they're not going to work. They're not going to address his contract until at least mid, if not to the end of the year.
I think we might be sitting in a world where we look at that Trent's the only one signed up.
Oh shit!
They're coming out to the end of their deals. I think they're all playing next season. They'll all be here next season. It's just a year after that. So if I'm Liverpool, I'd rather be looking for the centre back to replace Virgil this summer instead of next summer, when everyone knows that's what we need, and the prices go up and it's harder to buy them players. Get them in now. Get them in a year early. Why not?
Get them a year with Virgil.
Yeah, exactly. It improves them for a year. They play with Virgil for a year, improves their game, and then they eventually know they're going to take Virgil's place. It's going to happen eventually, isn't it? Virgil's going to leave eventually. If it's not next year, it's in 2 years or 3 years. So I think we need to do our due diligence as a club and make sure these players are in and we got our choices that we want early, then leaving it too late and then shopping around everywhere for a player that we're desperate for.
Interesting.
I still say play on the side. I still say,
yeah. No, look, there's so much uncertainty around Liverpool, where people are going to play, who's going to play where. I'm excited. I'm dubious. I'm scared. I'm worried. I'm optimistic. I'm all of these things all at the same time.
That sounds like my wedding day.
Big up Atanas, who's become a member. Big up yourself, brother. Honesty's back again. Honesty's definitely been the absolute VIP of for today. Big up yourself, brother. Says question. What are you guys' biggest fears under Slot for next season? What are your biggest hopes under Slot? Just quickly, guys, what would you say? Winning the league would be the biggest hope.
Biggest hope's winning the league.
Biggest worry, he can't handle the pressure of being the replacement for Klopp.
That's the biggest fear. But I don't. That's not a fear for me, because I think he's in. The thing with Slot, I think he's wanting to be Klopp's replacement by the sounds of it. The way he talks, he's like, no, give me the job. You know, you look at other managers who didn't want it, and he's like, give me the job. I want a... My fear for Slot is that he falls into the same issues that Klopp fell in the last couple of years. And don't try and put players into positions that they shouldn't be playing in, or build a system and a formation around one player. You should be around the team. Don't fall into them situations, and you'll be fine. And don't listen to the fan base, and just do your own thing, man. I think Slot's going to be absolutely fine. He's a good coach, man.
Biggest fear I think the biggest fear has to be living in the shadow of Klopp, like as in having to live up to those expectations. That's the biggest fear. And if he, succumbs to that, and I think the biggest hope, I believe, is actually winning Champions League next year because of the new format. I think we have an opportunity to make the most of it. And, there's going to be a lot of teams that have to adjust to this whole league format that the Champions League has put. It allows for teams like ours to be able to last, go a little bit deeper into the tournament. So I think that, mess around and score a triple-double, as they say,
I think Slot's going to surprise people how good he actually is.
Yeah, and we now get to actually watch the Dutchman versus the Dutchman. The Premier League asked for it. Man United have obliged.
There you go.
Man
To be an
United
all
have
Dutch
obliged.
manager derby, yeah.
I think them holding on to him actually shows there isn't that many good quality managers out there. Because Man
Absolutely.
United don't hold on to Ten Hag if
Absolutely.
they believe somebody's
No,
good
I think
enough
they're
to take
broke.
away.
Drift.
It could be that as well,
Yeah,
which is even more fun. Atanas as well says, was only joking. Obviously, I slapped that like button. Big up yourself, brother. Please make sure we got 626 people at 2 a.m. Big up everyone.
Wow,
Please
big
make.
up.
I know everybody's not in England, but big up yourselves. Make sure you do smash that like button, people. I remember when you guys talked about that time Drift didn't feel like picking up the orange juice. Love you guys. Drift is the GOAT. Look, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some random woman can't be asking me to take things off top shelf. You know what I mean? It just is.
No. What you want them to do, Drift, is ask them if they can take something off the bottom shelf. If you know what I mean.
Those are strictly the thoughts of Jamie. I'm happily. No, joke. I hear you, bro. I'm sure that the only person who I think would definitely agree with me is wife. She'd be like, "Yeah, what's some random woman asking you to take shit off the top? Tell her to get a staff member." But no, look, I wasn't trying to be a menace. I was just tired. I've been at work all night. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I don't work here. Honesty says LFC. I've been linked with Fringpong and have we been linked with Davis? Oh no, sorry. Davis has rejected a new. Davis is going Real Madrid, bro. I think it's almost universally known. Universally known that David Alfonso, he's going Real Madrid. I don't think anybody should even.
Does anyone rate Alfonso Davis like that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think defensively he'd have the Trent issue defensively where people would say, why is he getting caught out? But going forward and as an overall player, Alfonso Davis is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's going for his Gareth Bale thing from fullback to winger now.
Oh, okay. So you think, well, but if he goes Real Madrid, then, bro, they've already got one player who wants to play left wing and a player who's the best left winger in the world. So what do they do then?
Yeah, they've messed up, ain't they? They should give us some of their players.
Yeah, just give us Vinny Jr. and then all this shit can just be squashed. A big up, John, man. Glasgow Red TV says, everyone jumping on the Bradley train now. Love it. I've been saying it for years. I've got a laugh. Big up you guys. Now, big up yourself, man, as always.
Big up.
And I think that's the best place to leave it there. I want Mike to be able to go and eat. I tell you what, I haven't eaten. I live in the UK and I haven't had my dinner yet at 2 a.m. So I need to go and eat before I go to. In fact, you know what? I'm going to keep the party going. I might actually go and do my gaming stream, guys. I've redirected. So if you guys stay within this chat, you'll be redirect. 3 a.m. after I eat, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be playing another horror game walkthrough for you guys. I don't stop the party. I don't care what time it is. We keep it pushing. We keep it moving. We keep the entertainment flowing. You know what I mean? So make sure you're back here at 3 a.m. on my channel, Drifter TV, for a gaming watch along horror game. So if you shit your bed last time when I played episode 1, I'm probably going to play episode 2 or Slender Man. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, love as always, you guys. I know it was a last minute stream I put together. Big up my brother Cal for jumping in. Big up Matt who couldn't make it. Jamie, Mike, 12th man. Truly, truly appreciate it, brothers. I know you lot. We were supposed to only do an hour and a half as well. We done 3 hours. This is I want
Big
Mike
up to U.S. men's national team. 1-1. 1-1.
Oh, against Brazil. Yeah. That's big, man. That's big. Jay, last one says Vinny Stinker versus USA.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's saving himself.
Vinny's stats for Brazil ain't that great, are they?
Rodrigo scored today for them.
Okay.
Player we're linked with.
Maybe Vinny's the other way to Mbappe. He's a world-class club player. And not
Oh, man. But, brothers, it's been an absolute pleasure. Please, guys, make sure you do go and follow these guys on all the socials. Please make sure that you subscribe to their channels. These guys do brilliant work. It's exactly the reason why I knew they'd make a great panel. People, just quickly let them know where they can find you guys. Let everybody know where they can find you. Cal, give it a rest, brother. My days.
Oh man.
You know, Cal's on the appetizer tonight, don't you? That's
Yeah, fizzy. He's on the fizzy apple juice. He's
got a sugar buzz. He's
Yeah,
got a sugar buzz going on. He's got a sugar buzz.
Mike, let them know where they can find you, bro.
Well, you can't find me anywhere, but what you can do is you can find Staffy TV and you can find American Waffle, and I'm on that every Tuesday. But if you want to get in touch with me, well, you're just shit out of luck because I'm non-existent. So
Or you just Google
go subscribe to both of these guys' personal channels.
Jamie, let them know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, Jamie Phillips Football Chat. So I've got a video tomorrow afternoon. So yeah.
Cool. 12th man, let them know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, you can find me at Liverpool 12th man. Got a throwback game we're going to watch tomorrow. Going to hit the DeLorean and go back in time. Watch a little Liverpool 2007. And still trying to get some of these guys to come on for this quiz show that I've got lined up. Hopefully, maybe Mike or Jamie or Drift or even Cal.
Just hit me up. Just hit me up.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, man. We'll do
Right,
it.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down, Jamie. I got you.
We'll make sure we get that done, man. Yeah, brothers, it's been amazing. People, I hope you enjoyed. We had definitely over 600 people minimum for the entire stream. Love as always. Big up your damn selves. We'll be back tomorrow with that more daily content on transfer rumors. Members, hope you're enjoying what's happening. We'll have some more member stuff for you guys tomorrow as well. And yeah, man, we'll keep this pushing, man. We'll keep it pushing. Until next time, big up your damn selves. Like, share, and subscribe to everyone. And we will catch you on the other side. Big up all the Darwin sexuals as well.
I count as one. I count as one.
I know, brother. I know. We move.
I'm a Jota sexual.
I'm a Liverpool sexual.
There you go.
Hey.
I'm gonna stay blank on that.